It is Thursday, March 5th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. And I do a quick background change there during the intro. SP3. I don't know if you noticed that I
Yeah, I
had
see
the
that. Yeah, I
Fast and the
did.
Furious. So yesterday when I did my run-in on the hump with Sean and AJ Francis, I was backstage and the WrestleMania logo was behind me, the WrestleMania sign. And Sean is like, change that because TNA, you know, people are watching from
Oh yeah,
TNA.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
They
I was
get
like, they
really
got,
upset about that.
yeah. I was like, they got a partnership. What are they mad about? So I was like, hopefully Fast and Furious will be okay. So I had to change my WrestleMania sign back to Fast and Furious yesterday. So yes, for those who saw my run in and noticed that it was not the WrestleMania sign, I did not want to upset TNA, so I changed it up. And now back to WrestleMania though for this show. No TNA guests here, so we can go with the WrestleMania sign. How you
You do
doing,
what you
buddy?
want.
How
I
you
am
doing,
doing
buddy?
well. Can't complain, can't complain. I'm actually doing work myself at the same time, but not making any changes to my background. You'll continue to see Frozen and Mickey and Pluto for as long as I have to do work in this room. It's a nice desk. So I don't want to go anywhere else. But yeah, just got done. Oh well, just published my interview with Persephone. So that's up at
Nice.
si.com. So I'm just posting that up right now. But feeling good this Thursday morning. Here to talk some Love is Blind, weddings or non-weddings.
That's what we're starting with,
And
everybody. So if you want the wrestling talk, come back in maybe an hour, and we got Love Is Blind to talk about. Big weddings, partial weddings, on yesterday's episode.
yes, yeah, I'm ready to talk about some AEW Dynamite, keeping up the streak of solid to great shows heading into Revolution, the Revolution card coming to fruition. And of course, MD4R, my dog for real. If y'all are fans of In the Weeds for a long time, y'all know I'm the only member of the In the Weeds staff that is an official member of the War Dogs, or AKA now just the Dogs. So I'm a dog for real.
I think Joel and I are members of the Good Brothers now.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got
Yeah.
talked about on their podcast.
So for those that missed yesterday's show, I mentioned that I saw Talking Shop, and in their like headline and description, it said the podcast wars, and I was thinking like, is he talking about like our show and Busted Open? Because when we had Gallows on last week, I was like, "Oh, who'd you do? What show did you do before this?" I was like, "Not Busted Open, right?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Busted Open. Like, you guys got heat with them?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck Busted Open and all those guys." And Callis is like, What's going on?" So I saw on their headline, their podcast headline, that it was Podcast Wars. I was like, is he talking about us, or is he just like, they had the big interview with AJ Styles last week. And that
Yeah,
was AJ Styles 2 days after his retirement ceremony and Hall of Fame and everything. So I thought maybe it was like people were mad that AJ did their podcast and like that was the wars. Like everybody's mad at Talking Shop. I'm like, oh, we got this big exclusive with AJ Styles. So I listened to the show yesterday, Talking Shop, and I'd play the clip. I don't know if there's like copyright stuff on the clip though, but effectively, Gallows is like, yeah, we did In the Weeds, two great brothers. They get our sense of humor, like they're great and everything. And I jumped on there and I was like, oh, I just did Busted Open. And they're like, oh, Busted Open. We hate Busted Open. Like, fuck Busted Open. I'm like, oh, man, I didn't know there was like heat between these guys. Like, there's this podcast heat between these. Like, we don't know. We're friends with everybody. We didn't realize there was this heat going on and stuff. And Gallows is like, well, they might have, or Anderson is like, they might have been ribbing you and everything. And I did message Gallows and I was like, yeah, that's a bit on our show. Like, we don't have any real issues with Busted Open. I mean, we're still better than them, but we don't have any real issues with them. So I worked Gallows into thinking that we have real heat with Busted Open. And then C. Delgado, appreciate you, C. Delgado. He said, I think the run-in on the hump went well, Jeremy. I appreciate it. C. Delgado did send the super chat of like, hey, AJ Francis, why are you ducking Jeremy Lambert in the rap battle? And he was like the first person to send in a super chat as well. And so I was watching the show, and Sean didn't bring it up in the first half hour, and I had to do it within the first half hour because I had to go pick up my kids at 2:30. And so I messaged Sean. I was like, hey, can I run in real quickly to address the super chat? And he's like, yes. And that's when I got told I'd change my background. And so I run in there, and Sean references the super chat. And I talked to AJ about setting up a rap battle. We're in the process of getting that going. So
negotiations.
Negotiations to.
This is gonna go like the 50 Cent Ti versus. This is what it's gonna be.
He's the coward then, because I'm here. I'm ready to do this. So he'd be the coward. He'd be 50 Cent. I'm gonna get all of my 12 kids to record diss tracks on AJ Francis, like T.I. did. But I mentioned that I have 12 kids, and AJ Frank's like, what? Whoa, like 12 kids? I was like, yeah. I was like, I do a lot of fucking line. And AJ's like, oh, okay. But he really thought that like, I have 12 kids, and I mean, I do, but I completely worked him on the 12 kids. And I said at 2:30, I was like, I got to go pick up my kids. He's like, well, have fun driving like the 12 kid van. I was like, no, I got a whole school bus. I just rent out the school bus. They let me have that. And he's like, okay. And then Sean's like, he doesn't have 12. He has like 7. And AJ's like, well, that's still a lot. Yeah, AJ's like, y'all ever heard of rubbers? I was like, it's too late for that now. They're already out. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do about that? So I worked AJ and I worked Gallows here. So I feel like I'm the worker of the year. When you do your, the Heaties, when you do the SI, the Round Table Awards, I want my nomination here. SP3.
Right, that's fair.
I've worked 2 prominent workers in the wrestling business all within the same day. I feel like I deserve Worker of the Year nomination.
Your Worker of the Week. I'll give you that.
I'll take that.
Worker of the Week.
That puts me in the running for Worker of the Year. I feel like, everybody who gets Worker of the Week should be at least in the running for Worker of the Year. So I'll take that.
You, Jade Cargill, Piper Niven. Like y'all are.
I don't know if Piper's working though.
Well, WWE loves it, so
Yeah, I'm not sure Piper's actually working. Honestly, it's actually a good bit. The number of kids increases when someone asks, especially if a wrestler asks. Yeah, Shotzi was also like 12. I was like, yeah. And then I get to hit the I do a lot of fucking line, and then that trips them out as well. I'm like, good for you.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny.
I'm doing more working than NWA, OVW, TNA. I'm out here working, brothers.
It's true. No one's quitting on you.
Yeah. Fightful Select reports that Steph DeLander and Mance Warner have quit TNA over Steph DeLander not being cleared by TNA. I can talk. But Steph not being cleared by TNA and them not risking her being cleared. She says she's cleared. She went to a WWE doctor apparently to get clearance and everything, and they were involved in a storyline with AJ Francis. That was what was going on with them. And now I guess they do a live show tonight, so at least they don't have any like canned stuff that that they would have to air. So we'll see on that. Sean has an interview with Steph. I think that comes out this week. I don't know exactly when, so I don't want to say exactly when, but I'm pretty sure that comes out this week. And I'm sorry if I just spoiled that he has an interview with Steph and I wasn't supposed to say that, but spoiler alert, Sean has an interview with Steph DeLander coming up.
Only the Indoese fans get these scoops.
Yeah.
Scoops from Jeremy Lambert.
That's what I tell everybody. I don't think anybody listens to this show. God bless all of you who do show up every day for us. But if you do listen, you actually do learn some stuff.
We really do.
Community.
here.
We really
They
do.
even spill over to True Hill Heat, and they mention stuff from like True Hill Heat, like Josh D from CT, who's been a part of the THH community now. He mentioned, we were talking about coming up with merchandise ideas for True Hill Heat, and he's talking about C-Suite. I was like, no, that's an In the Weeds gimmick. That's not a THH gimmick. See, I have separate gimmicks for the territories that I'm working. I have certain things that I do here that I don't do at True Hill Heat. I got certain things, some things split over like matches of the week, but y'all get it 2 days earlier than True Hill Heat. So I'm spoiling y'all over here.
Yeah, I do appreciate that you have different. You go to the territories and switch things up. You know, keep yourself fresh. Fresh go to paint, as they say out there. Yeah, you guys are very loyal. We do appreciate you. I actually do. I saw Alexa Bliss Gamer mention this yesterday. I do actually have. Sorry, Louie, you are no longer the top weed, the forever top weed. I got a little less lazy. I'm trying to be a little less lazy in March. This year's gone by so fast. Can't believe it's already March. Yeah.
It is.
I do have a new top weed that we can crown at the end of the show. So top weed, end of the show. All right.
From February.
From February, the February top weed. Yes.
So you got top weed here, and then on True Hill Heat, Josh has adopted his Bum 15 because we were coming up with like things because at PWI has their 500 and the women's 100 and tag team 50. So Josh always calls people bums on True Hill Heat, so he came up with the top 15 bums in all of pro wrestling. Spoiler alert: Rusev was number one, and then he's now doing Bum of the Month. And Bum of the Month from February. Bum of the Month from February was Natty.
Oh, that's poor Natty.
I felt bad too. I was like, there was much other people who felt more worthy of being Bum of the Year. I even didn't agree with Rusev being number one for the Bum 15. I thought that he had Bubba Ray and he had Bubba Ray in the top five, and he had Carlos Silver at number 2. I was like, how is he not? How is Carlos Silver not the bum of the Bum 15 number 1?
Ryan says Nikita Lyons not top bum. Fair.
I mean,
points there. There we go. We don't do C-suite anymore, so we just got to randomly, play this.
For anyone who's upset we don't do C-suite anymore, blame this guy. This guy over here.
Goofy? Donald? Mickey?
No, you.
You're pointing the opposite direction on my screen.
Oh, okay. Then here. This guy.
Elsa?
No, this guy here. I'm not pointing to Elsa. I'm pointing off screen to you, sir. You didn't value the C-suite. You gave C-suite privileges to someone who didn't even know the assignment on the C-suite.
No, the assignment was we had to give AEW the award, and we couldn't give it to Evolve. That was the assignment.
You should have gave it to Zeta Steel then.
I don't know. Was she? I guess she would have been in ROH at that time. Yeah, that maybe could have worked. It is what it is, Izzy Dame. Everybody leaves a thumbs up on the video. That helps us out. Subscribe to the channel. That helps us out. Clips are going up. Shorts will be going up when CapCut stops trying to fuck on me. It works for a little bit yesterday, and then it stopped working after the show. I just need to keep burying it during the show, I guess. I guess I can only make shorts during the show because that's the only time that it's going to work. But I'm doing shorts again. I'm trying to be a little less lazy in March, even though I still have to do a lot of stuff when it comes to stuff. Everybody go to roundtable.io/NBA and join and log in and all that fun stuff. Help get me a bonus for all my basketball work. I get to write about the Knicks losing to the Thunder last night. That's always fun. Jalen Brunson and Mike Brown and all these guys complaining about, he does a great job of convincing the refs that he gets fouled. Got 7 free throws last night.
I predicted that. Me and Chris G did True Hill Heat check yesterday. I was like, hey, what do you think about the Knicks facing the Thunder? And Chris G is always trying to be optimistic about the Knicks. I'm like, how come?
They're good. Like, I'm not gonna downplay the Knicks. They didn't have Mitchell Robinson. He rested on the back-to-back, but obviously we didn't have Dub, but we've only had Dub for like 20 games this year, so we just haven't had Dub the entire time. AJ Mitchell's never going to play basketball again. Caruso and Hartenstein both got hurt by halftime last night, so we were once again hurting. Their defense was good though. I know when you went to the game a few months ago, like their defense wasn't good. It's been really good over the past month, and it was good last night. They've definitely like ramped up their physicality, and I thought I'm sure people will come at me as a biased Thunder fan and everything. I thought the game last night was very physical and favored both teams as far as the whistle. Like I thought OKC got away with a lot of stuff, and I thought the Knicks got away with a lot of stuff. I thought it was called relatively even. Like they could have called more stuff on OKC. I don't dismiss that at all, but I also think they could have called more stuff on the Knicks as well. But they called what they called. Again, free throws were even. Free throws were like 25-22. And one of the OKC free throws was because Mike Brown got a technical, so fouls were relatively even. Every time people complain about the free throw stuff with OKC, like you look at it and it's like, well, at the end of the game, it's just even. So yeah. I don't know why. Like it's not like we're shooting 20 more free throws than the other team. You know, they're shooting even stuff. And it's like, oh well, it's how Shea gets his free throws. By drawing contact like every other player does. It's a lame argument, man. It's just it's a lame argument when people try to be like, oh, it's the free throws are the only reason that they're winning the game, and and then it's okay, well, it's how they get the free throws. Like, man, I don't know. Jalen Brunson grips for some fouls and stuff too. They probably could have called more.
He does. He grips OD for fouls. He just doesn't have the whistle that someone like Shea has.
He does. He does have the whistle though. That's the thing. No one wants to admit that he has the whistle because he's smaller, which fares, I guess. But like Brunson's got a pretty good whistle. I mean, I think Luka's got the best whistle in the game. And Jokic,
and he still complains.
Yeah, and he still complains. So you're not gonna win with these people. Honestly, they're all gonna complain about free throw attempts and all of this stuff. But Shea drives the most of any player in the league. He's gonna get fouled. Yeah. He's gonna get to the line. Look, it's because OKC is good. People hate teams that are good. They hated the Warriors because nobody could beat the Warriors, and they're gonna hate OKC because we're the champions right now. If the Pistons win the title this year, they're gonna hate the Pistons because they play very physical defense. They hated
the Celtics after they won. Well, they always hate the Celtics. Always hate the Lakers. Always hate the Knicks to a certain extent. Chuck West. If you're saying the Thunder ain't making it out of the West this year, say who you think is going to win. Because we talked about this on Tuesday. If you're saying the Nuggets, you are smoking some ganja and you haven't watched any of the games this year. Because they are not as good as we all thought they were at the beginning of the season, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
I think the Nuggets can turn it around a little bit. Now there's still a month left in the regular season. Once Aaron Gordon's supposed to come back on Friday, that's when he's targeting anyway. Once he's back, they're a completely different team on both ends of the floor. So they'll get Peyton Watson back. Cam Johnson's got to play better, but we'll see how he kind of continues to fit in. The Spurs. Yeah, okay. See, that's why I didn't mention the Spurs. The Spurs is the team that, I would say that is the team that can knock the Thunder out, but I still think they're 1 year away. They're just too young. They don't have the experience at the playoffs yet. Here's the thing with the Spurs. Everyone says like the Spurs is a bad matchup for OKC. And I understand you're using the regular season as like, oh well, they beat them 3 times, so clearly they're a bad matchup. And OKC won the last game. It's like, oh, they're clearly a bad matchup because they beat them 3 times. Okay, but why are they a bad matchup? Because they won 3 games against them? Like, that's the... I guess that's the evidence people use is the final score, but what's the theory there? And here's my point on this. The Timberwolves beat the Thunder 3 times in the regular season last year. What happened in the playoffs? Because everyone would have said, oh, the Timberwolves are a bad matchup for OKC last year. Of like, oh, they beat them 3 times in the regular season. They have more experience. They were in the Western Conference Finals last year. You know, this is the Thunder's first time being here. They had to go 7 against Denver. Well, the Timberwolves only played 5 against the Lakers and then 5 against the Warriors, maybe 6 against the Warriors. I don't think the Steph was hurt, so I'm pretty sure it was only 5 against the Warriors. So people would have pointed to the Timberwolves. I think OKC was actually favored in that series, but a lot of people did say, oh, the Timberwolves are a bad matchup because they beat them in the regular season. Like, what's the I guess the theory there that proves it, and not just, well, what happened in the regular season? That's what I want people to come up with. And I have my own theories, but I want people to actually come up with theirs instead of just like, well, they beat them 3 times in the regular season. Okay, but why are they a bad matchup just because of some regular season games? I mean, that's factual. I'm not going to argue.
Yeah, that's factual. But I would make the argument Chet might be my defensive player of the year right now. If the season ended today, I think I would give it to Chet.
Yeah, I don't know. Wemby's still, he's amazing. But Chet's our third guy. Amazing. Chet's our third guy. Wemby's their first guy. So, yes, Wemby is better than Chet. I don't disagree.
Is Wemby better than SGA?
Yeah, is Wemby better than Shea? I think Wemby's great. He's not better than Shea, but I don't think anybody's better than Shea. So that's Thunder bias if you want to call it that. But Chet actually hit his threes last night. He played
6
really
for
well.
11.
Yeah, it was all in the first half, and then he didn't get the ball at all in the second half. But
Shea's he missed. I gotta get my 25 plus. Sorry,
20. He just needs 20. He doesn't need 25. 20 is the streak. 25 is they doubled him all last night. He didn't have too many opportunities to score because they just kept taking the ball out of his hands. And once we didn't have Hartenstein, it's not that our offense falls apart, but he's the safety valve in the middle when they double Shea, because then he just hits Hartenstein, and then Hartenstein either he has the floater at the baseline, or the floater in the paint, or he kicks it out to one of the threes, because then you're playing 4-on-3 basketball at that point. And he's a great playmaker, and he reads the floor well, especially compared to everybody else we have on the team. And once he was out, then kind of our offense fell apart because we just don't have anybody who can read the floor, the middle of the floor, that well. And so we don't have any drivers because we don't have Dub there. So we're just settling for a bunch of threes. You're not going to find too many games where Isaiah Joe and Jared McCain go 1 for 9 from 3. It'll probably happen in the playoffs, but those are our 2 best shooters. Those are 2 40% 3-point shooters, and they went 1 for 9 combined last night. Now, if they actually shoot their average, the game's not quite as close as it was. They shot poorly. It happens. Chet does hate Wemby. I actually kind of respect how much he hates Wemby. I'm sorry, Wemby hates Chet. Wemby hates Chet. I don't think Chet feels any type of way, but the Wemby hating Chet, I actually respect how much hate he has for him.
Where do you think, all time, SGA is going to be viewed as a point guard or a 2 guard? Because I think his game is more tailored to be a 2 guard, but he is listed as a point guard. And I know being a point guard in today's NBA, it just means that you have the ball more and you don't want to take the ball out of his hand. But I feel like if he was historically, when we go back and look at it 10 years from now, and he I think someone like a Cason Wallace can play the point guard for Oklahoma City in a couple of years, or even maybe next year, because I think he's a great role player for them. I think historically, if SGA is viewed as a 2 guard and y'all win another championship, especially if he wins the MVP this year, he's a top 3 point guard. There's a debate of who's better all time, SGA or D Wade, as far as who's third overall. It will take a few more championships for him to be oh, I'm top 2 competing with like the likes of Kobe or Michael Jordan. Whereas with point guard, there's been so many great point guards. I even think like if he gets another MVP and another ring, he could be in like the top 3, top 4 conversation of point guards. But I feel like 2-guard wise, all time, I think that he's already in the discussion of like top 10 2-guards of all time. But as far as point guards, it's a little bit more difficult because there's a wider range of point guards that have been great in NBA history.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is already, I'm going to say this, already a top 4 shooting guard. And he ain't 4, he ain't 3, he ain't 2.
This guy. Ridiculous.
He's already top 4. Okay, so you, Jordan, Kobe, Wade. Who's better than Shai? Who's typically number 4?
Probably for me, it's someone like an Allen Iverson.
I think of Iverson kind of as a 1, honestly.
What? Allen Iverson a 1? Even when he won MVP, he was a 2-guard.
You're right. Sorry.
He's a 2.
I play him at 1 when I play 2K, so that's why I think of him.
Because you're playing 2K, and because that is how it works nowadays in 2K. And even someone, Money Mark mentioning Harden, and Harden probably in
that's
that
what I would think too.
Yeah, he's probably in that conversation too. But like when you look at his years since he's been in the Rockets, where those are his prime years playing with the Rockets into all the other teams he's played on, he's been a point guard other than like the Nets year. The Nets year was the only time he went back to 2-guard, but he's been a point guard since he's been on the Rockets.
Harden's similar in that people think of him as more of a 2-guard, but yeah, he's played the point for the majority of his career, because they had Beverly technically as the point guard for Houston, and Beverly was listed as the point guard. Harden just had the ball in his hands the entire time, so he was listed as the shooting guard. So Harden is who I figured you would say would be, because that's what most people say for who
that's
4th
fair.
is.
It's Harden, Iverson, those are the guys that are like,
and I'm
that's
saying
the top 5 before you get to someone like currently like a Shai.
I'm saying get Harden and get Iverson the fuck out of the conversation, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is better than them.
I mean, you're probably not wrong. Like, because of the year that he had, the years that he's had over like the last 3-4 years, you're probably not wrong, because he has a championship. That's something that Iverson and Harden don't. They both have one MVP, just like Shai, but Shai is more efficient. Shai is a better leader than both guys, arguably, and he's won a championship. So you have a great case. Jerry West is another great shout. Jerry West is up there.
I never saw Jerry West play. I'm not going to pretend like I know Jerry
But
West's
I'm talking about
game.
all time. If we're talking about all time, he is in that conversation. He is a top
Sure.
5 guy that they talk about.
No, he is, but I'm not going to pretend like I ever saw Jerry West play and how good like he was and everything. He's the logo. Like that, to me, is all the accolade that you need. He's literally the logo of the league.
Yeah, he's like a top 5, top 10 2-guard. But as far as executives, he's the greatest of all time. That's why I put him on my Lakers Mount Rushmore. As far as Ray Allen, Klay Thompson, I think they're top 10, top 15 2-guards. Because I view Klay and Ray Allen in the same kind of like tier of 2-guards as like a Reggie Miller. And
I put Reggie over. They got rings, which helps, but they got rings as, I mean, Ray was the 3rd guy on his teams. I mean, the 4th in Miami. Yeah, Klay was the 2nd guy, so I give him credit there. At least Ray Allen, we actually saw him like lead a team. Like when he was with the Bucks, he was the best player on those teams. Klay, we just never got to see that because he just always played with Steph. Now, do I think Klay Thompson could have been the best player on a team? Yes. How good that team could have been, I don't know. But we just never saw that. At least a guy like Reggie, like we saw him as the top guy on a team that went to the conference finals and had to face Michael Jordan. Finals. Yeah. You know, he had to face Michael Jordan, and
he had to face Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant when he got deep into the playoffs. So yeah.
So, a little bit tougher for Reggie. Yeah.
And that's disrespectful, Louisville. That is disrespectful revisionist history saying Reggie's overrated. Zach LaVine with better PR. Zach LaVine never led a team to the conference finals, let alone the NBA finals. Let's stop playing games here.
Zach LaVine can't even lead a team to a playoffs.
He can't even lead him to a playoff position. I think Davion, what Jeremy said, it's D Wade is number 3. D Wade has that number 3 spot. It's going to take another MVP and another championship for Shea to be in the argument to surpass D Wade.
Yeah, I think Wade's number 3 right now. 6 months from now, we'll see what this conversation looks like.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, because it looks like he's going to get another MVP, and then all he needs is the championship, and he's right there in the conversation with D Wade. So yeah, that's what I said. I view him as that. Whereas point guard, I feel like it's a little bit more jumbled because he's not a traditional point guard. Like all the comparisons that we get for Shea is to the Kobe's of the world, to the Michael Jordans of the world. His game is very much a 2 guard, but he's playing the point guard position because of how the NBA is nowadays.
Yeah. He's been better as a point guard, especially now with teams just doubling him and everything. He had 7-8 assists last night, something like that.
Yeah. 6 assists for the season. So yeah.
Yeah, it'd be more if these dudes could hit shots. Shea gets hurt, and all of a sudden Isaiah Joe turns into prime Klay Thompson and Ray Allen. And then Shea comes back, and all of a sudden Isaiah Joe can't shoot again. Like, what are we doing here? Isaiah Joe? Why can't you shoot when our best player is on the floor? That'd be helpful. You know? Get out of here. The Knicks are sneaky, though. I don't dislike them as much as I know you do. You don't like them, but I don't dislike them.
I grew up in New York, ladies and gentlemen. I had to grow up around Knicks fans who what I saw on the court was never what any of these Knicks fans would ever tell me. They would always be like, "Well, there's always next year. Well, Patrick Ewing is one of the top 3 best players in the NBA." That was like my first experiences in the 90s, is hearing people tell me that Patrick Ewing is a top 3 player in the NBA, and I'm like, but I'm watching and I don't see that. I don't see that. Strange.
This current Knicks team, if their defense is going to play this well, they're going to be a tough out for anybody. You know, their defense in the playoffs could completely fall apart because it's tougher to hide people in the playoffs. You know, there's way more matchup issues when it comes to the playoffs. Teams are obviously scheming different. They're attacking different than they are in the regular season. Because I don't think the Knicks double Shea as much as they did last night if, again, Hartenstein was healthy, or if it's a playoff series, because like he beat the double every single time. It's just guys just kind of miss shots. Like if guys hit shots, OKC wins by 20 in that one. And if Hartenstein doesn't get hurt, OKC might win by 20. So do they switch up their defense? How do they switch it up? Because they were definitely looking to like attack Towns on the pick and roll and everything. Again, the Knicks did a good job with it, but it's going to be different in the playoffs just because there are just so many, it's matchup dependent so much. So I don't know if their defense is going to carry over to the playoffs quite as much, but I do like their effort. I do like their physicality on defense. It's definitely a lot better than it was, early in the season when they couldn't stop anybody.
They've been great since the beginning of February. Their only losses have been to legit some of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, the best team in the NBA last night. The only loss that's kind of like putting the eyebrow up is the Pacers, but that was in overtime and only by 3. So the Knicks have played great.
The Pacers just also got like the hatred factor.
Yeah.
Like the Pacers we're going to tank unless we're playing the Knicks. We're beating this fucking team. So
yeah.
I'll give the Pacers at least that much. One more saying the Knicks have the same problem as the Spurs. The other guys think they should shoot as much as the Stars. I mean, Brunson, like last night, Brunson could couldn't get much done because of the defense, and so like he had to give up the ball. Josh Hart's kind of an issue for them because they don't guard him at all, and he won't take any threes. So he's kind of a tough issue for them. But Bridges and OG got to take their shots. Towns has got to take his shots. Like they got some shooters out there.
Yeah. And I think I disagree with that. It's saying the Cleveland loss, in my opinion. Other Mikey, I think I'll take Cleveland against the Knicks if they play in the playoffs.
Okay.
I believe in more players on that team when it comes down to it than I do on the Knicks, especially on one side.
I think Donovan Mitchell is one of the most overrated playoff performers of all time.
I mean, that's fair.
And then you're going to factor in James Harden.
Hey, it's a counterbalance. James Harden's the most underrated. He's actually good. Games 1 through 5. All he has to do is get the series done by 5. Yeah. He's pretty good. If it gets down to 6 and 7, that's when things get a little bit rocky.
I will continue and say I think that the Hornets are on the come up. They've been looking good as of late. I'm going to give credit to the infamous Sam Mercady, who's been on this show before. He called the Hornets beginning of the season. He was like, I like the Hornets this year. Part of it, I think he was just trolling me because he likes to do that. He's a big fan of LaMelo because we used to have this bit called Team Urban Individualism, and it was just the guys that were always just like looking to chuck their own shots and everything. So like Dion Waiters, J.R. Smith, like these are just like urban individualism all-stars out here. And LaMelo is very much like that. LaMelo is just like, I'm just going to take this one-legged three and all this stuff.
Hey, he's not efficient, but I put LaMelo in my top 10 point guards of the NBA right now.
I like LaMelo. I think he's fun to watch.
He's number 10, but I mean, I still put him in the top 10.
So like I think he's partially trolling me because of his love for LaMelo, like his ironic love for LaMelo, and just like sure, the Hornets. But he was, whether it was trolling or not, like he did say the Hornets were gonna have a good season and be a playoff team. So he's at least looking correct. He also said that the Irrational Confidence All Stars, but one of our friends came up with Team Urban Individualism, and so that sounds better than Irrational Confidence All Stars.
Sounds more dignified. Sounds like something Kevin Nash would say.
Don't put me in that category. Oh no.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear the word urban, I think of Kevin Nash.
That's
he has claimed that word from the dictionary.
I won't double down. If you say that I'm wrong and I can't use it, I'll be like, all right, I'll walk it back.
Oh man, he's doubling down. It's hilarious. Don't ever tell. Don't ever tell a white man of a certain tax bracket that they are wrong. They will just keep doubling down.
Again, I will defer to you on this one. If I cannot use urban individualism for the team.
No, you can.
Okay.
You can. Because it's not in the way that Kevin Nash uses it. It's all about the context and delivery. Context and delivery, ladies and gentlemen.
But LaMelo is definitely on there. Now, I will say, Sammer did say Doc Rivers was going to be Coach of the Year, and that was a giant failure.
That's a great comment.
That's actually really good. He should.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Urban Individualism, the Javon Evans story written by Kevin Nash. Raphael, you got the comment of the show so far. Comment of the show.
Mr. Town saying, I think the Cavs have a pretty good team to make it far into the NBA playoffs this year. I'm not discrediting the Cavs. I thought the Cavs were good last year. They had injuries that they were dealing with in the playoffs last year, and I think that hurt them. I thought they were going to be good this year. I actually like the James Harden trade for them because Harden's going to play I know he kind of missed a couple of games because of the thumb injury, but Garland, couldn't stay on the floor.
Exactly.
Garland, you could scheme better against the playoffs. Like, I understand Harden, his playoff history is what it is, but I don't think Harden is actually like locked up or anything. Manu Ginobili aside, I don't think Harden is like locked up or anything in the playoffs to where teams just have like this great scheme against him to stop him. I just think like he plays poorly in those moments, but he still gets all the shots you would kind of want him to take. He still makes all the passes you would want him to make. It's just other guys aren't hitting shots or he's not hitting shots, and so his numbers in that way look bad. So, and I like Allen and Mobley. I do like Mitchell. I know I called him an overrated playoff performer. Now, part of that is I'm a little salty over the reason that he gets put in that category is because rookie Donovan Mitchell beat that Thunder team that had no defense. And so people are like, oh, he did this as a rookie. He must be amazing. I was like, yeah, well, playoff P sucked. Carmelo Anthony couldn't guard anybody. We didn't have Andre Robertson because that was the only reason our defense was any good. And Billy Donovan was our head coach. So like Donovan Mitchell played great in that series. I take nothing away from him. But I do think people look at that performance and think like he's one of the greatest playoff performers ever. And I'm like, no, that's
I don't think anybody goes that far.
No, people do. Yeah, I don't say ever, but people do like put him. And look, hey, that him and Murray just going at it, like, yeah,
that was fun.
Murray's a guy who I think is like a full on playoff like riser. Like his regular season numbers
but
are
both
like
guys
good.
Both guys are having career years, like because I had to do my research for those top 10 lists that we did on THHC, and I was looking at their numbers and watching some of their like games and some highlights and breaking down their games a little bit. They both have improved greatly this year. Like both guys are having career years. You got Donovan Mitchell averaging 28.5 points, his career high. He's a great leader for the Cavs. And Murray messed up Jokic MVP candidacy, honestly, with that time that Jokic took out when he got hurt. That hurt Jokic's whole MVP candidacy this year because Murray was able to hold it down and still be the leader in place of Nikola.
This is what it really comes down to. The bubble is fake, and everything that happened in the bubble does not actually count. They thought Anthony Davis was a 3-point sniper in the bubble. Come on now. What are we doing with that?
Anthony Davis, who has a tendency to get hurt, was a great player in the bubble, yes, but he was a great player before the bubble as well that season. And his 3-point shooting had improved every single season after that. But what happened in 2021? They started the regular season 6 weeks after we won a championship, lady. No one ever wants to mention that. The real people that know basketball, they know that the 2021 season is the one that should be looked at funny, not the 2020 season.
The whole bubble was a fake experience, and none of those performances should matter because it wasn't real basketball. That's when you have guys like Anthony Davis doing what the entire Miami Heat team, honestly. Gabe Vincent and I'm sure they had some Plumlees and whatnot out there. I forgot who was on that Miami team. All of them were fake players though. The Suns as a whole, fake team being that good.
Hey, they went to the NBA Finals the next season.
He's like a Chris Paul. All right, let's do the Love Is Blind wedding recap. You messaged our group chat yesterday, and you were like, "Oh, Ashley just curved this man, went in on him."
Yo,
so
I was laughing.
We were watching this yesterday afternoon, and she, they do the before the wedding, and they're all talking, and she's like. I don't think he's going to say yes. Like, I hope he says yes, but like, I expect him to say no. And my wife and I are just like, so you say no. Like, exactly. If you are at your wedding day and you don't think your partner is going to say yes, you should probably just go ahead and say no. That's probably like not a good sign for your marriage that you think he is going to say no, or she, depending on who you are. Probably not a good sign. Or like, then you say no. And then he was pissing me off so fucking much.
Oh my god.
His whole,
put on our cleats. We're gonna get ready for the game.
His whole bit is that like he's a soccer player. Like, we get it, dude. You were a soccer player. We understand that. But he's got to bring it up every single time. And here he is bringing it up the day of his wedding, comparing the wedding to a soccer game. He's like, oh, I'm not nervous because it's just like going out in front of in the soccer stadium. It's like taking a penalty kick, you know? You don't get nervous. If you can do that, like the wedding just isn't a big deal. Everything is a soccer analogy with this guy. And I was so annoyed. And like, he kept going. He did it once and then he did it again. He did it again. I was like, dude. Yeah, I was like, do you not have any other frame of reference? Jesus. And it's been all season with this. He's the worst kind of person, SP3. Yes. The worst. Because, I played sports growing up and I had zero success when it comes to anything. A little bit of hockey success, but just, rec league hockey success is the most that I got. When you just have like minor or no success growing up, like playing sports as a kid and stuff, you don't really mention it unless it's just like a cool, like funny story. I joke with the kids, I'm like, yeah, high school badminton champion. Like you got to live up to my legacy there. It's just like a joke and stuff, right? So there's that person who plays sports as a kid and doesn't really say anything unless it's just like a funny anecdote of their life. And then you have the person who made it and, is actually successful and can recall all of it. Like, yeah, I was in the league. I did this, this, and this. Like, all right, you were actually there. You get it. He falls into that category of that between where he played, but he got hurt. And so he has the what ifs of everything. Mm-hmm. He has the theory of like, I could have been the greatest player ever. I was going to be a top 5 pick. Like I was going to go on to like win all these championships.
He's Al Bundy. He goes into the Al Bundy category.
The Al Bundy. Yes. Those are the worst fucking people in the world because they're going to tell you all the stories of how they were great. And then they're going to tell you all the stories of how they would have been the greatest. And like, you don't want to hear any of that shit. Like you didn't actually do any of this. Those are the worst people. And that's exactly what he is.
And everything he says sounds like a prepared message. And anytime he gets asked a question that he's not expecting, he always wants to make himself into the victim. Like, oh, you're trying to pry in, you're trying to catch me out on a lie. Usually the people that say that are the people that are lying. If you think you're going to get catched off on a lie and that's why you're not answering a question or that's why you're lying on your answer, you are probably the guy that is lying.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So yeah, King Potato saying the worst is the guy who peaked in high school and makes it his whole personality. Those people suck too. But this guy, I can't stand this guy. So they get up to the altar and they're going to ask him first. And I'm just like, oh no, he's going to say no. And it's going to destroy her. She knows it's coming, but it's like, oh. And then she just cuts him off.
She said,
cuts him off and is like, I deserve better. I question your integrity. Like your story is always changing. Like, you just don't know what you want. And I do know what I want. I know it's not you.
You treated me like a roommate.
Yeah. You're like, we were just roommates, everything. Like it just wasn't there. And I was like, oh.
This is also a lesson to people. Maybe y'all shouldn't start sleeping with each other, before y'all start living with each other. I'm just saying, because once he got that, it seemed like when they got back, he was like, oh, I already, I'm not that interested into you. You're not my type. He was trying to hit on what's her name, Brittany. He was trying to hit on Brittany and Cabo.
Yeah. He's like, oh, not my, he said that during the wedding day too. Like, oh, she's not my usual type and everything. And she mentioned that as well. She's like, I'm not your type and stuff. Like, all right, go, like, run, lady. And fortunately, she did run. I wanted more from the dad though. Her dad, the greatest.
The dad did it all with the smile. With
yes,
the smile
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Family, he's like,
yeah, yeah, 100%. Like I was like, oh, her dad is just. We saw when he was smiling. I was like, yeah, her dad's so proud right now. I was joking with the wife. I was like, her dad came in with like a 50-page report on this dude from like a private investigator and everything, and it's just like, here you go, do with this information what you will. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's just, we're out of here on this. But I need the dad to have like his own show. I need like the divorce lawyer Love Is Blind. Because all these couples, they just fucking, they screw up anyway. So I need him to have his own show. He's the greatest. He's the greatest man in the world. He rules. So I want him to have his own show on Netflix. I got to bring him back one way or another.
My mister said he looks like Mr. Burns.
I can see that. Okay. I can see that.
I enjoyed him. He was one of the best.
He's so good.
Side characters of this season. But man, I was so happy for Ashley because that guy deserved to be humbled. And him trying to act like it didn't affect him. Oh my God, he is not a good actor.
He was
either. He's not that good at soccer, and he's not that good at acting because he was trying so. No, I felt the same way. Way. I felt the same.
I was waiting for him. I was waiting for him to be like, "Oh, I was gonna say yes," to make it seem like, "Oh, she like just gave up on the relationship too quickly or whatever." I was waiting for him to say that, but
him saying, "Oh, well, she wasn't honest about a couple of things too," but he can't name any of those.
Yeah, he can't
things.
name anything. No, he was so hurt with the integrity stuff. He's like, question my integrity. Like, what? It's like, to my integrity, doing this toast and everything. He was so hurt by that line.
And then the mom's like, "Oh, that's just mean.
Yeah,
that's not right."
The mom was like half like, "Yeah, she's probably right. My son sucks." And then, but she also just had to like take her son's side of like, well, the integrity part upset me. Like everything else is probably true. Like, I could see where she's coming from with that, but to question your integrity, can't believe that.
She's like, yeah, you were kind of a jerk to her living with her, but you know, you do have integrity though. You're a good guy. His friend being like, "You're a good guy." He was like, I know.
Yeah. Oh, the fact that like they hadn't met her yet was because they're like playing poker and everything beforehand. And they're like, "Oh, can't wait to meet her" and stuff. I was like, did you not introduce her to your friends before all this? It seems like you should maybe do that, but sure. Yeah, that was destined to fail, and thank God that she got over on him before he could get over on her. We had Emma and Mike. Emma said yes, which I was like,
in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what's to have you in my life. Yes, it's a yes. It's a yes. It was like she was so unsure, and it gave Mike no clarity on him having a kid. Like, I don't even know why they got to the wedding, to the altar. Like, y'all are not compatible. One wants to have kids, the other is scared to have kids. This was never gonna work.
Yeah. He said no, and because of the kid uncertainty, his parents were so happy. They're like, "Oh, thank God." Oh.
His mom was like, "Oh, God."
His mom was so relieved. Yeah, so relieved. I think they can maybe work out if they take time and they do get on the same page with kids. I just don't think they actually will get on the same page with kids, and I think there's probably just too much damage at this point. They are a couple that. And my wife says this all the time of like, if they didn't have to like get married within like weeks and they could just like date normally and everything, they might be able to work things out and get on the same page. But with the pressure of like, you got to get married in 2 weeks, it became too much. And he didn't feel confident in her with everything. So it's probably for the best that they didn't get married.
Yeah. It was definitely for the best. When that's a big thing to get across, to get over an obstacle in your relationship. If you differ on like kids and building a family, I don't think it can work out. Like you said, probably if they had more time, they could get on the same page, and she can have that confidence to say like, yeah, I want to have kids with you. But if she's so adamant about like her hesitation on it, and he's so adamant about having it, it just wasn't going to work in the time frame that they were given.
Yeah. King Potato saying Mike's parents acting shocked and surprised that he said no, as if they weren't in his ear the whole time, telling him. Yeah, we talked about this on Tuesday. Like the lead up when his parents are just like, well, yeah, if you're happy, if you're sure you want to do this, like they said that so often. I was like, they want to say fucking run so bad, but they like on camera they can't. I'm sure off camera they're like, all right, get the hell out of here. Like, what are you doing? This is not going to work. But on camera, they're like, well, if you're happy, if this is what you want to do, we support you with everything. So I know what you meant. I know what you meant. King Potato. I didn't even realize you said not wanting to marry him. Yeah, I know what you meant. Marrying her. Jordan and Amber both said yes. I hope they work out.
I mean, I don't know, dog. I don't know. That Jordan yes was like, my mind, my heart says I want to say I do. And then they're like, wait. Did you just say I do? He's like, yes, I said I do. And my God, you would have thought this was like the finishing move at the main event of WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom, and a Super Bowl buzzer. It was Super Bowl at the last minute touchdown and the NBA Finals buzzer beater all at once. The family popped. Oh my God, I've never seen that on Love Is Blind, where the family was shocked. It was that shock pop of, oh my God, yes! Yes, but the way that Amber talked that entire wedding day, it really sounds like she's just settling, that she can't find anybody because of what she does for a living, and she just really, really wanted to make this work. Even her I do, when she says, I do, but I understand I have a lot.
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah. That
it's like you just gave him an out, and you're making it sound like your one kid is a lot. Like it's not a lot, really. Like what are we talking about?
Yeah, hers where she was, as you mentioned, she's like, well, I do, but I understand if you don't. The wife was like, oh, is she like giving him this out here? And I was like, I feel like she's like kind of protecting herself in case she doesn't, or he doesn't say I do, because so she's like, okay, yeah, like basically like pre-cope of, oh, I understand why you didn't say it. And I was like, oh man, yeah, that was, both of them were the most unsure I do's when it came to this. I was like, oh,
they should have done this one at the end instead of Vic, and I know they wanted the happy ending at the end, but it was like a foregone conclusion. The producers didn't even try to guide them to make it look like they had to make a decision. It was just a foregone conclusion. That's why it would have been more interesting to have that one at the end where it could end with him saying no. But me and my missus was just watching this, and we're like, he can't say no. The daughter's right there, and the daughter giving it the death stare like. I was like, go ahead, Emma. Emma is giving him the death stare. Like, you better say yes to my mommy.
Emma, bless Emma. She knew where the camera was the entire time. She was staring at the camera. She is like, all right, this is the camera. I'm gonna look at you. I'm looking directly to the audience here. She knew where the hard cam was.
Best facial expressions throughout the whole wedding. Even when they did the pause when Jordan was about to say I do or I don't, you go over to, they pan over to her and her jaw is on the floor already. She's like, I was like, this girl is meant to be on reality television.
As you mentioned, Christine and Vic said yes. Like I hope they're still together.
Like boring. Like
they were boring all season.
Yeah, because they didn't have any drama. But you can at least feature these people. Like I felt like I had no connection to them when they're doing all of this. I actually liked them in the moments that we saw them and felt like they had a healthy, good relationship where it was a foregone conclusion they were going to say yes, but we needed to see more of them. Just because the couple is not like causing any drama or doesn't have any conflict with anybody else doesn't mean you can't like feature them at all, to the point that when they get married, you don't feel anything as a viewer.
Yeah. Maybe they were just boring though. Like even if like they were happy and everything was going well, like if you're not good television, you're not good television. So maybe they were just a boring couple, and it's like, well, we don't even want to spend like 2 minutes on this when we can spend 2 minutes elsewhere, you know, on stuff people actually do care about. I assume they're still together. I don't read spoilers and stuff until like after the reunion, so I hope the best for them. And then we had Brittany and Devon and Devontae. This poor girl.
Oh my God. We need a like a wellness check on Brittany, because I think she needs help. Like she needs like psychological help, because she's up here being like, we're still gonna get married. It's like 90% sure I'm gonna get married to you. We're still together. We're just not getting married today. You know, I got the dress, I got the lashes, and then you go over here to Devontae, and Devontae's like,
he's like deuces.
He's like, she's following me around. I think she's crazy. Yeah. She already had her wedding dress. she's like, you know, we're gonna get married soon, though, right? And he's like, I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah. Yeah, she is over here like, oh, we're going to keep working on things and it's going to be good. And she's like, okay, talk soon. And he's like, yeah, uh-huh. He was like, gone.
He's like, ugh. He's like, she's always following me around. She's like a shadow.
I was like, oh, this poor girl. She does not realize like she just got broken up with, and she thinks that, oh, we're still gonna work on things, and you know, it's not an I do today, but it's not, you know, done forever and everything. It's maybe an I do a couple of months down the road and everything. And he's like, no, I'm never speaking to her again. Like this show's over. I ain't actually got to communicate with her. I'm done.
He's like, I don't just date to get to not get married. I don't just date to date.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, yeah, he's trying to tell her he's trying to date somebody else because he's effectively dated you and did not marry you. So feel like you're done.
He was like, you're wearing blonde. He wasn't blonde hair and blue eyes, so I'm out. Deuces. I mean, he made that perfectly clear multiple times. I've never dated a woman of color.
Yeah,
I never did. She had multiple times. She has told him, I am a Latina woman, and he just keeps calling it woman of color. Like, dude, it's quite obvious you only date white women. Like, we don't need you to keep reminding us that.
He should date Ashley, and she should go be with Alex, and we'll see how that works out for both of them.
I mean, that's what Alex wanted.
I know. That's what I'm saying. How do you feel about? I'll ask the chat this as well. How do you feel about the female already having a wedding dress, like before you meet, get engaged, and obviously marry? Like she already has the wedding dress picked out. How do you feel about that?
I didn't at first. I didn't have like any like issues with it. She was just confident that this experience would work. But I did. That was the only part of what Devontae said where I was just like, yeah, that does kind of come off a certain way. It does kind of come off a certain way. Like you were going to get married regardless. You are buying this. You're not buying this dress because it's the perfect wedding dress for you and his wedding. You're buying this dress because you are going to get married. It doesn't matter who it is. This is the person that you just are going to go full throttle with. And it does come off a little bit, waiting to exhale. I don't know what other movie or TV show reference I can make. It is kind of weird.
Grace saying no issue. It's a Joel Pearl fine. Apologize finish saying something I don't have to pay for, but definitely a red flag. Other Mike says I think it's fine for a girl to have a plan. Ryan saying it's a red flag for me. I'm sorry, hold on one second.
See? That's what I was getting at. Like Ryan saying, I went on a date with a girl that already had baby names picked out. Mind you, I got snipped.
And And Henry saying, I always thought women had dresses picked out ahead of time. Well, they pick out like the dress, but like you usually pick it out after you've been proposed to.
You don't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't buy it like before you've met the person that you're dating. That's effectively what she did. Here's where I'm at on, and my wife mentioned this, and I see where she's coming from on this of like, if you're somebody who, she bought that dress, Wheeler saying she bought that dress for dudes before you got there. If you're somebody who like, maybe you just like find just a great dress and it's like a good deal and everything. And like, you're like, oh, I really love this dress. It's like $300 cheaper than what I would basically pay for. Okay. I will, I'm going to buy this dress. Like, I can understand that point of view if like it's just like a really good deal on a dress type of thing. I'm of the mind of like, it's a little weird if it's her mother's wedding dress. Yeah, that makes sense. Like if it's a family thing, like all right, that you're not really picking that dress
you
out.
Didn't,
like,
you didn't buy that dress.
Yeah, you didn't buy it. Yeah. So, but like if you bought a dress and then like let's say the person you're with like doesn't fit that dress vibe. And I know like it's a white dress, but you know, there's different styles and everything. Like it's super floral, it's super like sparkly and everything. And the person you're with like just doesn't have the floral sparkle vibe. Like now you're wearing this dress that like doesn't actually fit your relationship type of thing. Or maybe you buy a dress like thinking like, oh, we're gonna have a nice beach wedding. And maybe the person you're with again isn't like a beach person, and you end up getting married in just like a normal church, or vice versa type of thing. Now you're wearing like this long dress with a long train at a beach wedding, and like, oh, you're dragging that shit through the sands and everything. Like it doesn't quite work out as well. That's where I'm like, you're kind of like predetermining maybe who you're with, or just you're predetermining that like you're gonna get married, and maybe you're not like picking the person you actually want to marry. You're picking the person who you're gonna marry because you want to get married type of thing. Yeah, that's where I'm at on it. I don't think like it's the worst thing in the world, but it would.
I agree with the chat. It's just a red flag, but also at the same time, I feel like Devontae was just reaching for stuff.
Oh,
he was just
100%.
Trying to use any reason to justify how he felt when he first met her. When he first met her, he was dropping hints that he was not interested. Even like in the conversations where they're talking about finance, and he's like, "Oh, if you want to spend some money, you better not look at me." He's like, "I'm like, that's the person you're talking to that you are supposed to spend the rest of your life with?" Like, nah, he was not ready for this, and he definitely wasn't ready for this with her. So I think that it was just him using that as an excuse more than it really being the red flag that it should be to a normal person.
Yeah, I'm with you. So it's a no to my Batista entrance for our wedding. I did John Cena entrance for my wedding. Bless my wife who was on board with that. We haven't talked about it. We're not going to talk about AEW at all today. It's just nothing but basketball and reality television.
Basketball and trash reality. Now let's get into AEW. Right,
we'll get into it in a second.
It's my dogs, for real.
We'll get into it here in a second. I'm going to read some super chats because it does set up for AEW. Henry saying the Mickey Mouse Championship.
I agree. The Bucks. Yeah, the Bucks.
I was about to say, is that the trios titles?
That too.
All right, we'll go here. Delayed Grats saying War Dogs, well, just dogs, are all elite. Aussie Open reunited. Jet Set Rodeo is no more. 11 out of 10 show. So AEW Dynamite last night. There's a couple big topics coming out of it, but Joel Pearl jumped the gun and just made this thumbnail before anything else on this show happened. Immediately after David Finlay debuted, he made this thumbnail. And look, it's a good thumbnail. It's a great thumbnail. And
Great tagline.
it's great tag.
I was kind of upset because that was going to be my idea for AE Ramble. I had to be like, Romeo, you come up with another pun for dogs for the AE Ramble thumbnail. So I'll see in like 30 minutes what he comes up with.
So I give him credit, and he's like, we don't have to use it. I was like, the only thing else that's going to happen on this show was the trios titles are going to change hands. And I was like, do people like care about the trios titles that much, you know? And that's exactly what happened. The trios titles did change hands. Like, I'm not going to change it. I like this one, Joel. I'm not going to force you to change it. I should have just made him do it just to do it and not use that one, the late one. David Finlay is All Elite along with Clark Connors and Gabriel Kidd. They lost the tag team match, but they won the war as Finlay jumped in at the end of the match. Showed up. Now we have the dogs, not the War Dogs, not the Bullet Club War Dogs, not the Bullet Club, just the dogs.
The dogs
are in AEW. What'd you think when you saw David Finlay show up here, SP3?
I was happy for him. I know that he's a guy that has always kind of been kind of an outlier in his New Japan dojo class with the likes of like Jay White, Juice Robinson. Those guys were the gaijins in that New Japan dojo class of like 2015, 2016. And he's kind of been a guy that had to kind of catch up to the other guys in front of him, and he didn't get like the initial push that a Switchblade Jay White got after he came back from Excursion. He didn't become like this popular underdog babyface that Juice Robinson was in the late 2010s. It was the tag team with Finn Juice that really was kind of a turning point for him, and then of course Jay White leaving in 2023 when he was able to resume the whole role of Bullet Club leader and create the Bullet Club War Dogs that really kind of took his career in a different trajectory. He's always been a rock solid guy, a good hand, a consistent hand, but over the last 3 years he's really stepped up and become one of the best in-ring performers in all of wrestling. He's one of the most underrated as well. Like a guy his size, the strength that he has, the technical ability, his timing, his precision, it's some of the best in the industry. So the whole like him becoming a free agent, you know, like most people, it looked like WWE was the natural kind of next move for him because of his connections to his father, Fit Finley, who's working at the Performance Center with his brother Uriah Connors in NXT. It felt like that would be kind of a natural position for him, and I had good kind of like optimism for that move. But it did feel like, as far as like his wrestling ability and his connections with the Bullet Club and Bullet Club War Dogs, and despite their rivalry, he is good friends with Jay White and Juice Robinson coming up in the dojo with those guys. He did have connections as well in AEW, and that could work for him as well. So the whole thing, when I saw him, I was just hyped. I was like, yes, the AEW just got the hottest free agent in my eyes, because he's a guy that has a higher ceiling, I think, in AEW than he probably has in WWE. In WWE, at best, he was going to be a mid-card guy on the main roster if he ever made it up to the main roster. He could be a top guy in NXT, but I don't know how a lot of people in the industry feel about being a top guy in this version of NXT. This is not the NXT Black and Gold of 10 years ago. This isn't the NXT Black and Gold of 6 years ago at the beginning of AEW. This isn't the NXT Black and Silver of like a year ago when they had a whole bunch of young stars that looked like they were going to go to the main roster and be immediate mega stars over there, and they have done well for themselves, the likes of Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. This is an NXT that's in a rebuilding phase, so I'm not surprised by the whole contract situation, but I'm happy for him. He didn't get the pop that I wanted him to get, but I can understand that this was a different type of card. We saw right from the start of the show, Kevin Knight, traditional babyface to many other crowds that don't always, know him 100% in the same way they know like the main stars of AEW. This crowd crowd was booing him at the start of that matchup with MJF, and we'll get into that as well because they were able to turn that around. So I didn't expect this crowd in particular to give him like a big pop, but I think with Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors as the dogs, this is a better kind of, I can see a better path for him to be one of the consistent featured stars in AEW as part of this group. And they got a good introduction because they're going against two of the top babyface or two of the most popular baby faces in all of AEW in Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. So I'm happy for David Finlay because he's always had the type of talent that deserves to be on national TV, and I'm glad he's here in AEW.
I just don't think he wanted to change his name to David Connors.
I mean, that's probably it. That was probably the difference maker for him. He was like, what would be my name? And they're like, David Connors.
Yeah, he's got to be Uriah Connor's brother, so he's got to be
He's
David
like, that
Connors.
sounds like a character on One Tree Hill. I'm good. I'm going to go to AEW. But now,
like, I know people put the connections because his brother and his dad are in NXT and WWE and everything. So it's like, oh, well, he can easily go there. I don't know, man. If the offer was, hey, you can go be with your friend, let's say the money's equal, which apparently it wasn't, but let's say the money's equal and the offer is, hey, you can go be with your friends in AEW, or you can go be with your family, but you're probably gonna have to change your name and you're leading a group who we've never done anything with on our television show, which
you're gonna do a group with Brian Pillman's son, with the third best member of the D'Angelo family, with the TNA Knockouts World Champion, and your brother, who we just started paying attention to like 2 months ago.
Yeah, in NXT, which, as you mentioned, not exactly lighting the world on fire right now when it comes to especially the men's division. It's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go here where I'm probably gonna at least be on television. Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors have gotten good television time over the past few weeks. We know there's a feud, there's a plan and everything over here. Yeah, I get more money. I'm good. I'll take this.
And the fact that there's been like certain rumors about what David Finlay was making in New Japan, and New Japan was in competition with the NXT deal. I mean, that's kind of disrespectful. Like it wasn't like he's like some mid-carder from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, for the last 3 years, he's been either the top heel or one of the top stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling, which in reality is the #1 promotion in Japan, which Japan is holds wrestling at a higher stands than a lot of other countries around the world. So that kind of felt disrespectful for me. We should mention, I think it was it Corey Haynes who was the one who mentioned the whole contract situation?
I think so. I don't
recall. Corey Haynes of Body Slam was the one who, I think it was him. He mentioned that that they offered him an NXT deal, not on the main roster, and they kind of basically lowballed him, and that's why he made the decision to go to AEW. Dude, like, what are we really offering Danhausen main roster money, but not David Finlay? I understand merchandise sales and character, that matters, but come on, man.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, I don't know how serious that they were about David Finlay. I think if they were serious, they would have made a better offer when it came to this. So I have no idea how serious they were with their offer to David Finlay. And also, if I'm David Finlay, it's like, oh wait, I got to go over here and then I got to sit on the sidelines for a month as you teach me how to work and get acclimated to the WWE style. Because, that's a thing that they do. So, yeah, it's just... I understand why David Finlay chose AEW. It seems like there's a lot of a lot of reasons why you would choose AEW over NXT, given what we just kind of laid out there. I'm happy for David Finley. Happy for the dogs. They're a good group. We'll see where they fit in the AEW landscape, because Don Callis family is obviously like the top heel group when it comes to that. Death Riders are kind of in that in-between state right now.
They're tweeners now.
Yeah. Hurt Syndicate might come back at some point. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, and they'll probably be positioned as a high one. Yeah, it depends on where they're gonna be in the AEW kind of landscape. They do have like ready-made feuds for them. He comes in and he's feuding with two popular baby faces in Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. And then of course, when eventually, hopefully this year, fingers crossed, Switchblade Jay White comes back into play, you got Juice Robinson and the Guns that he could team with, and that's a natural feud of former Bullet Club stables and the Bang Bang Gang and the Dogs going at it. And they have unfinished business with the whole way that Switchblade Jay White was departed New Japan Pro Wrestling, with David Finlay knocking him out with the shillelagh and usurping him as the Bullet Club leader. There's natural stories to tell when it comes to that. So I'm very interested to see what they do with David Finlay. And I feel like David Finlay is the type of guy that will want to like work a lot, get in the ring. He'll have good to great matches. And I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to be like, oh, I don't want to lose. And that's key. That's key with AEW. You have to be willing to wrestle and you have to be willing to lose, and you will get a push eventually. If you are willing to do those things, if you're willing to wrestle and you're having great matches and you're willing to lose, Tony Khan loves you.
The main event saw the trios titles change hands with the Don Callis family. So this was set up earlier in the show, which I love.
The whole story. This was a very rare show-long narrative for AEW, where they
so the show opened
with the world title match.
Yeah, so the show opened with MJF and Kevin Knight for the world title. And as you mentioned, Kevin Knight got booed, but they did a great job to turn the crowd around. It wasn't super surprising that a Texas crowd booed.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Macaram is very famous. I think it was like 2023, 2024 when we was doing AE Ramble. He was like, man, AEW always get good crowds in Texas and Georgia. He was like, it's always the slave states. So
yeah. They turned it around though. Good on them for getting him back around. MJF played his role very well. Great match, and then of course MJF did win with the Heat Seeker. He shoved the referee out of the Knight was going for the frog splash, and he shoved the referee out of the way as Knight hit it, and so then the referee was down and he couldn't count the 3, and then he kicked out at 2. Knight went back for it again. MJF got the knees up. Knight kind of fell onto the apron. He should have just fell fully out of the ring, but poor ring awareness by Kevin Knight. Got hit with the Heat Seeker. I don't like that finish. I think it's too. It takes too much to just this was a very egregious example of let me hit you with my knees way over here and then tumble all the way through the ropes over here, but not fall to the outside, but remain on the apron where you can hit this move on me. MJF will hit it good sometimes where it's set up very well. It's kind of like the 21 plex. When it's set up well, it looks really good. When it feels a little too much to get there, I'm like, I don't know about this. This is one where it just felt like a little too much to get there.
Sure.
But MJF won, and again, great match. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent opener and a very great showcase for Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight was awesome with his high flying arsenal in the matchup, but most of all his selling. This is probably the best Kevin Knight has sold. He sold those ribs from the moment he misses that first UFO splash through everything he did. He does a drop kick, he's holding on to the ribs. He does the standing UFO splash, he's holding on to the ribs. It takes him a little bit of time to get the cover. Even on the regular UFO splash off the top rope, he was selling the ribs. At the outside, when they're doing different moves, that that flying over the top rope clothesline to the floor was just remarkable stuff. Great camera angle that they did on that one as well. That great little move where he moves out the way of MJF and so smoothly moves out the way, jumps onto the barricade, does the moonsault. It did not. That was like the antithesis of the finish, where it kind of looked contrived of how Kevin Knight got to the apron. That was just so smooth, so fluid. They had very great chemistry with one another. Most of all, like I said, the selling of Kevin Knight stood out, as well as them being able to turn around the crowd. And Max has been amazing during this title reign. Like, this title reign is what a heel world champion should be all about, where you're elevating everyone that you're in the ring against. I felt like Bandito came out stronger after Maximum Carnage. Brody came out very strong coming out of their rivalry with one another, and Kevin Knight feels, once again, this was another example of why Kevin Knight is a future main eventer for AEW and maybe even a future world champion. He just has everything that you would need. He just knows how to work as a pro wrestler, and especially as a babyface. He just has that kind of that grit, that fighting spirit. The moveset is amazing. That coast to coast drop kick, I think that was the best that he's ever executed it, because it was really kind of set up well, where Max basically went down on his crotch and then got down into the Tree of Woe position, and then you see Kevin Knight put his leg into it. Because too much with Tree of Woes, it always feels like the wrestler who's in the Tree of Woe is doing all the work to put their feet and be in that position, whereas you saw Kevin Knight position his leg so he's stuck there, and Max sold it the entire way. And then when he hits the drop kick, it really felt like, oh man, this is the same sequence that he beat Darby Allin with. This is similar to the way that he was able to beat Kazuchika Okada. He's gonna do it here. And then I thought that the ref bump, it could have been timed a little bit better, in my opinion. And the referee, Bryce Rensburg, he always kind of oversells in certain instances. This reminded me of him falling asleep after he got a 2 count at Forbidden Door last year. So it was kind of that with the way he sold the ref bump. But I thought these guys worked really well together. A great matchup, a great world title match, and an excellent opener to the show that the crowd was fully invested in. And I love the fact that naturally they just started a show long narrative from this matchup, the post match, and then throughout the rest of the show.
Later on in the show, we did have Hangman Page squashing some guy. I forgot his name. I'm sorry to him.
Snow, his last name, Marty Snow. When they said Marty, I was like, oh no.
Do you think that's a rib?
Because I didn't see the wrestler in the ring. All I heard was the Justin Roberts say, Marty. I was like, wait, no.
Do you think it's like Marty Snow against Hangman Page? That's got to be a rib.
It's got to be a rib. Yeah, it might be.
Hangman squashed him. I mean, Marty S. Come on now.
Marty so just booted him, hits the buckshot lariat, beats him in 9 seconds. Then he gets on the mic. He calls out Max, dares him to hit him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Said that's not going to be enough in the Texas Death Match, and it's not going to be enough tonight. But he wants him to go and try and see if that does him any good. Foreshadowing. And Max comes out. He announces that they're doing a press conference next week between the two men ahead of Revolution. He says he'll wait till then to do whatever he needs to do before Revolution, and he's just basically the distraction because the Don Callis family comes out and jumps him. Mark Davis and Proto Kata laying out Hangman. It took Jet Speed a while to come out. I understand.
I was like,
but Speedball, you're pretty healthy. Speedball came out and super kicked Max after a distraction from Hangman. Like, you're perfectly fine. You could have came out here a little bit faster, sir.
Yeah, I had noticed the same thing. I was like, where the hell is Jet Speed? You guys are Jet Speed, and you were snail's pace at getting out here to help Hangman Page. What the fuck? You got to change your name now. Set up the trios match for later on, which was actually kind of set up on Collision, because when Jet Speed came out and we're like, we'll take on you two, go find yourself a partner, and we'll defend the trios titles against you.
But
Like, all right.
I do love when they set up the main event on the show because they do.
It's very rare for AEW.
Yeah, it's because they do it so rarely. It always stands out when they do it in this way. So I liked Callis talking about how you guys said anytime, anywhere. So I talked to Tony Khan and we're gonna have the match tonight. I was like, Tony Khan's a heel. Because Kevin Knight definitely came out with his ribs taped up. You're telling me that he's gonna wrestle again?
Yeah, Tony did kind of heel on this. Like, yeah, sure, we're gonna make this match. Is this Tony admitting that his card sucked and he needed a different main event for the show? He's like, oh, the women main evented just a couple weeks ago. We can't do another one. Bump it back to 9:30.
He was like, double main event, guys. But man, that main event, these dudes went out there and went full throttle, Jeremy. They were not playing any game, especially Speedball. Speedball, oh my God, that moonsault?
Speedball.
That's the best he's ever done it.
Because Speedball doesn't get to wrestle. He's like, oh, Kevin Knight gets a singles match. Hangman gets a singles match. This is bull. He gets his singles match next week, but he's like, finally, I get to get in here. And so, yeah, Speedball's like, I'm going all out for this shit. Let me remind you guys that I'm still here. As you mentioned, that the finish was MJF coming out and hitting Hangman with the Dynamite Diamond Ring as Hangman was going for the buckshot lariat. Kevin Knight was on top. He missed going after Mark Davis, got caught with a Rainmaker, and then Mark Davis hit like a sweet like lifting pile driver on him. Way better than the Heat Seeker. And we have new trios champions, the Don Callis family. I will call out somebody. I don't remember who said it earlier. I don't feel like finding it. It was like, oh, the Jet Speed Trios titles reign was good because, like, even though it was short, they defended them 3 times. They defended them once.
Yeah, 2 times. This time counts.
I'm not counting this. They didn't defend them. They lost.
This would have been V2. They defended it twice. You didn't say successfully defended. They defended them twice.
They defended them successfully once, not 3 times.
Hey, they are 3. No, the reason they got confused is because their trios record in AEW is 3-0. They won 1 trios matchup before they won the trios title, then won the trios title, then defended them once, and now they're 3-1.
I love that. I love. I respect Crown the Jewels reference. I love the. Or sorry, not Crown. Run the Jewels. I almost say Crown the Jewels. I love that, the complaint with Jet Set Rodeo holding the titles was like, oh, well, Hangman's going after the world title and Kevin Knight's going after the world title, but they're the trios champions. It's like, how can we make this worse? What if we give the trios titles to 2 guys who actually already have titles?
And Okada has not defended his title on a pay-per-view since All Out. Last year, since All Out, he has not defended the International Championship. And even then, at All Out, he was defending the Unified title, which is both the International title and the Continental Championship. But he got a shot at the tag team titles at Wrestle Dream. He wasn't on the Full Gear card. Then he lost the Continental title in the Continental Classic at World's End. And now he's going into Revolution, and he's not defending the International title again.
Well, watch ROH, and you will see an Okada international title.
He's been defending it on TV, on Collision, and now he's going to defend it on Ring of Honor.
Oh, this was a fantastic match. And I'm fine with Don Callis family winning. At least they've, had some interaction before winning the titles, unlike Jet Set Rodeo, who did like 1 segment together, and it's like, yeah, anyway, you're the trio champions now. It's like, all right, Proto Okada, Aussie Open, like they're all connected here. I can buy them as an actual trio with this. So I did like that.
I thought this worked. This worked in like so many different ways because it checked a lot of boxes. With Max screwing Hangman out of the trios titles, it makes it more tangible that Hangman is going to beat him at Revolution. Hangman needs to get his revenge. He's got this whole stipulation where he'll never get a shot again if he doesn't win this matchup. Him losing the trios titles basically frees him up in a lot of fans' minds to win the world title at Revolution. So it helps out that story and that rivalry. Putting the titles on the Don Callis family just seemed like something they should have done a long time ago with how many people is in the Don Callis family. Plus, it also helps with the whole Okada Takeshita story that they need to heat up in a hurry because they've let that be on ice for a little while. But it helps with the whole story because, or what was Okada say when he first teamed with Fletcher, or it basically proposed them teaming up last week on Collision. He was like, well, me and Kyle have always been champions, unlike Takeshita. And then Takeshita won a title at New Japan, the TV title on Friday. So now Okada can say, well, look at Proto Okada actually won championships together, and we are double champions. You just have one New Japan title that doesn't even matter. You don't have a title. You don't have two titles in AEW like we do. Proto Okada! It helps out that story. It helps out the Don Callis family and Mark Davis, most of all. I really feel like this is what I was talking about earlier with the David Finlay whole thing. If you are willing to wrestle matches, if you're going to have good to great matches and you're willing to lose, 9 times out of 10, Tony Khan's going to fall in love with you and he's going to push you. And Mark Davis got a championship off of following that formula in AEW.
I'm glad that Mark Davis kind of landed on his feet here because it's been rough for him with the injuries, and then Fletcher obviously rose to prominence, and then it looked like they really had something with the Jake Something tag team. I promise I didn't mean to do something and something. But they had that with the Jake Something tag team, and then unfortunately he got injured, and now it's like, oh, where is Mark Davis going to fit in here? Is he going to team with Lance Archer? Is he going to team with Josh Alexander? Like, where's he going to go? It's like, let's do an Aussie Open reunion, add in Okada, and we'll give him the trios titles here. Like, good for you, Mark Davis, because it's been a rough couple of years with everything I just laid out on there.
Yeah.
I was happy to see Don Callis finally win. I was like, all right. And yeah, I like that they did a full show narrative, full show story. It played into a lot. Kevin Knight. I like that Kevin Knight took the pinfall because he'd wrestled earlier. So it played in like, oh, he was kind of already beat down and everything. As you mentioned, Hangman getting hit by MJF. Like that plays into their story. So, and now Speedball, none of this is his fault, and he gets to face Kyle Fletcher next week.
Hey, he gets his TNT title match, and it's a rematch of, in my opinion, the best match of the C2 last year. So I know they're gonna rock that. That's gonna be an incredible matchup. And then you got Hangman, who cuts the promo on social media saying that he has to focus on the Texas Death Match, the AEW World Championship against MJF, but he wants to make it up to Jet Speed. So he got them a tag team partner who MJF would know very well, and the Don Callis family would know very well because he got a win over them at Full Gear. I was at that show, and it's Mystico. Mystico has success against MJF. He has success against Don Callis family. So it all ties together. It's very well done one show story that helps to build the pay-per-view in a big way. There is some issues with putting the trios title on 2 other champions. Again, don't get me wrong. And the trios titles, it's been one of the worst booked titles in AEW, but I feel like this is a step in the right direction. What now it's like a fork in the road when it comes to Tony Khan and his booking of these titles.
Maybe Mike Bailey will just get we'll just get the TNT title, and then we don't have to worry about multiple people having multiple championships.
There you go. Yeah. Ciampa's got to wait. Ciampa's got other issues now. Ciampa's got to wait for his shot.
Well, yeah, Ciampa's involved with FTR, who are obviously still involved with the Bucks, and so Ciampa came out and mentioned that he wanted to get the title back because Fletcher has named it Pinky, which I think is a fantastic name for the title, as Kyle Fletcher tries to take over the world. And FTR came out and mentioned the old times they had, and they teased Johnny Gargano a little bit here. Ciampa said he hated them then, he hates them now, and then he punched Dax. because he did not have a no contact clause, like
Well, he chopped
which was
him.
set up.
He chopped him. He didn't punch him.
No, okay, sorry.
Slapped the shit out of his chest though.
And it was he didn't have the no contact clause like we saw earlier, where the Bucks and FTR met in a meeting room, and Bucks talked about making it personal by attacking the family and not just being the best tag team, like we were worried about that they were going to do with all of this. And FTR ended up hitting Brandon Cutler on the way out because there was a no contact rule between the two teams.
Yeah, I like the sit down with the Bucks and FTR. This is like what I've always wanted from these guys. These guys have always done great matches in the ring together. Don't get me wrong. I love their matchup during the pandemic at Full Gear 2020. I even probably maybe more like their matchup in 2022 for the ROH and AAA Tag Team Championships on Dynamite. Their match at All In 2023 was arguably one of, if not the best match on that show. And their latter match at Dynasty was great as well in 2024. But they've never done any story outside of who's the greatest team of all time. And that just feels very self-gratifying, or patting ourselves on the back that we are two of the greatest teams of all time, more than it's actually telling a story and having a good TV program leading up to the great match that we know these guys can produce. This feels like a tangible issue is at play. There feels like there's some hatred between these guys now ever since the angle with the Jackson family, and I thought this segment was very effective of kind of addressing that, with the Bucks being so angry, not being able to get their hands on them, but saying that we're gonna wait until the pay-per-view because we want to do it in front of our family in our backyard in Los Angeles, and now we want to beat you for more than just being the greatest team of all time. This is what I've always wanted from these guys, and is making me even more hype for a matchup that, like I said before, I've seen 4 times, but this feels a little bit different than the other meetings that they've had.
I'm glad they actually do have something besides, hey, who the greatest tag team is, because as like, I think you can tell that story in certain aspects of like who the greatest is, but it's one, a subjective art form, and two, like we've pulled the curtain back so much that you're the greatest because of who you're booked and how you're booked and what titles you are winning. Well, it's like, well, yeah, you're the greatest because this person decided to put titles on you. And again, like you're having great matches, so like that you can use that argument as well. But then it comes down to, well, it's a subjective art form, so
yeah,
okay, I think your style is just better than your style. So even though you claim to be the greatest, I like this person better, so I'm gonna say he's better than you. That can work if you do it, the first time you kind of do it, it works out. When that's the only thing you're kind of gripping to, and we're going on year like 3 or 4 of this, and it's like, okay, well, we got to do something else. So I do love that they did that angle, and that is now the crux of this whole thing. What'd you make of the kind of the Gargano tease, and whether or not they're going to potentially, I don't know what a situation is, but it felt a little bit like, it did
feel like that.
Because this whole thing felt a little like shoehorned of like, why is FTR coming out here for Ciampa anyway? Don't they? They're dealing with these guys.
It sounded like they were setting up a matchup for a Collision, but FTR is facing the Rascals for the AEW World Tag Team titles. So like, I thought it was just gonna be like a segment to set up a matchup for Collision, but I think it's probably FTR wins on Saturday, and they do Dax and Ciampa on the Go Home show. And maybe we're gonna get Johnny getting out of his contract, or his contract's gonna expire, and then he comes over here, because it did feel like an overt tease of Ciampa in the tag team division more than it was continuing the story of Ciampa getting back into the TNT championship. Even though I like the first half of the promo that he did with him talking about Kyle Fletcher basically redesigning the TNT title without his basically clearance because that's his Sylvie and he's calling it Pinky now. So I like that part of it. And then the Dax and Ciampa stuff, I enjoyed that as well, but I was just confused after they announced FTR and the Rascals for Saturday.
Yeah. The whole thing was, I don't know, if you don't have Gargano, what were you setting up here? Because you can do a singles match with Dax and Ciampa. That'd be a great singles match. But it kind of feels like you got to get somebody for Ciampa. As you know, are saying Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, Roderick Strong. Is he gonna come? Is this where he comes back to? Like, I don't know. Like, what are you setting up?
I think Roderick Strong's going to probably come back for the conglomeration versus the Dogs.
Yeah, that would seem to be the ideal point. Yeah, I don't think Mark's gonna team with Ciampa.
Mark doesn't want to do tag team matches.
Yeah, so I just don't know what you're setting up here. I mean, look, maybe Mark decides he wants to do a tag team match. I don't know. Minds can change, but I'm not gonna put money on that. So we'll see what they end up setting up here.
But it would be funny. I won't front. It would be funny of them doing a makeshift tag team of the two best outside of the Bucks, the two best tag teams that the FTR has ever faced. Like their most famous matches against the Briscoes, and their most famous match in WWE was against DIY. So put in two of those, one of those guys from each of those teams together. It would be a fun. I would love to see it. I just don't see it because Mark has been very adamant about not doing 2-on-2 tag matches anymore.
Yeah. With Thekla retain the title against Thunder Rosa, they could not main event because they were not allowed to main event.
Even though the crowd in El Paso was behind Rosa and stuff. You know,
you would
she's from
expect.
Texas. Yeah, you expect that as well. And I thought like the first half was it took them a little bit of time to get on the same page, but by the time, especially after the first commercial break, they were beating the crap out of each other. They were having like a physical matchup, some good near falls down the stretch. I don't know how I feel about Thekla basically not wanting to win. She just picks her up towards the end of that matchup and wants to continue on, and then it didn't come back to backfire on her. But Thekla has amazing presence, and she really feels like someone that was on Stardom and not very much couldn't be used to her fullest extent. She was born to be a TV character on a pro wrestling promotion. She has proven that since getting signed by AEW, but it just feels like she just has so much more confidence now that she's the AEW Women's World Champion. Like her taunting the crowd by doing this had me dying. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, and she's rolling her R's. She's like, Thunder Rosa. I was like, I love this woman. There's just something about her.
She's a great, and I say this complimentary, she's a great dickhead. Like she's just like a prick, and it's she's really good in that role. And it is like you said, it is amazing like how quickly she just like established herself on television, and it has become this character, being paired with Sisters of Sin. I think that that definitely helped her, considering, say what you will about Julia Hart and Sky Blue, but they've been on television. They do have well-established characters, and Thekla's mentioned this as well, of they helped her like just get acclimated to everything and like how things sort of work. And when you've had two people who have been on television, and for Julia Hart certainly like pretty prominently since debut, even as like the cheerleader, like she was still like young age and still doing on television, and then obviously the House of Black stuff. So I do give them credit for like helping her get comfortable, and then I give her a lot of credit for like just finding her own voice and lane within everything, because like we talked about a few weeks ago, they did the Thekla and Chris Statlander match, and it's like, okay, well, they're doing this feud. It's kind of a bridge feud until whatever they're going to do with Statlander at Revolution. And then they did the match, and all of a sudden, everyone was kind of behind Thekla, and like, oh, they kind of want her to win. And then they ran back the match a couple weeks later, and it's like,
and we
I think Tekla's winning this.
They're only doing this, and they're putting the title on Tekla, and it's worked. It's worked out a lot, and I thought that it's gotten more kind of investment into the Statlander Tekla feud as well, and that's why it made sense with like the post match, Chris beating up all the security guards to try to get her hands on Tekla, and then making the save for Thunder Rosa, and then the promo she cut on social media. I think that's something that they should play on Collision this week, with her saying, I'm gonna choose my words wisely, and I'm only gonna talk when needed. So you beat me, I beat you, but now beating once is not enough. 2 out of 3 falls at Revolution, and that was made official after Dynamite. So it's gonna be Tekla, Chris Statlander, 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW Women's World Championship at Revolution. Based on their last 2 matches, which I loved their first matchup, but I thought that the strap match was even better. It felt like a barbaric war between both ladies. I expect this to be as good, or if not better, than those 2 matches coming up at Revolution.
The Brawling Birds squashed the Inspiration. That's it.
That's my match of the night. I'm sorry.
It did kind of roll. I was concerned, especially after the last Brawling Birds match. I was like, why are these people getting this much against it? This is weird. I was like, oh, okay, what are we gonna do with the Inspiration here? It's like, nah, we're just gonna beat them. And look, this is perfectly.
This was perfect usage of the Inspiration. This was perfect. I don't care what anybody. I saw so many people who don't get it. That's like, oh my god, they just squashed the Inspiration. They're the Inspiration. They're the Iconics. They're a tag team that just needs to get their ass kicked, and then just give them promo time afterwards. They could be like, we weren't ready. They weren't ready. They were trying to do their Jey Uso, like, I bet. Let's run it back. They're trying to do their poses and everything, and then the Birds just jumped them from behind. So them doing promos with Renee and saying, "You gotta be joking me. I wasn't ready for this." That's what we need. This was perfect usage of the Inspiration. Yeah, I saw some people being like, and I saw Sean. Sean was great with his response. I think it was Draven. Shout outs to Draven. He's a cool dude, but he was off base with this.
He's a very big TNA fan.
Yeah, he's pro TNA.
I love Draven.
I can understand. Yeah, I love Draven too. He said, for their first match in TNA, they won the Knockouts World Championship. Their first match in AEW, they got squashed. And Sean Rossett was like, I'll let you know which one they were happier about, which one they got paid more for. Yes, exactly. Yeah. This was probably their suggestion. They were probably trying to come up with ideas like, how do we introduce you on TV? It was like, oh, we just set up this thing with the Birds. I know the Birds should win. They should just beat us. They should just beat us immediately.
Yeah, this is how you use the Inspiration. They're not great wrestlers. I'm sorry. They didn't have great matches in TNA. What's the best Inspiration match ever? Like, I don't know. Can you name it?
I've seen their whole career. I cannot tell you.
Yeah, can you name like what the actual best Inspiration match ever is? Like, they're just not great wrestlers. That's why it was a weird signing in the first place. It's like, oh, where are you going to put them in this tag team division when you're building it and your tagline is "We're the best wrestle," and they're not exactly the best when it comes to this. What they do well is they get over, they get themselves over, they get their opponents over, they get segments over, they get over on their television time. Like they're very good at utilizing that time and making the most of it. That's what they've always been good at.
Yeah.
And if that's how they're going to be used here, fantastic. That's how they should be used. Trying to do them in 6-8 minute matches is not a good use of the Inspiration. Squashing them, letting them do backstage stuff, that's a good use of the Inspiration. So
Agreed.
I thought this was perfect, and I was so happy to see it played out like this, because I was a little bit worried of, oh man, the Brawling Birds went like 4 minutes with some no-name team who got way too much offense in. Are we really gonna do like a 5-6 minute match with the Inspiration? Like, nah, we ain't doing none of that. Just full out squash. So this was good
I enjoyed
stuff.
it. This was good
stuff.
usage. This was the squash we needed. We didn't need fake Umbrella Man versus Hangman. We just needed this. We needed this one. This was perfect uses of the Inspiration, perfect uses of the Brawling Birds. At this point, though, I don't know how AEW is gonna drag this out for the Brawling Birds to win the tag team titles at All In, because they feel unstoppable already. Like they should get a shot at the titles like tomorrow.
No, I disagree with that, just because that first match they was too competitive for me. Like, I need to see them beat a good team. Like, beating the Inspiration doesn't mean anything. And if you know, like, okay, they're former TNA tag team champions, like, they gotta, once they face a good team, we'll see a little bit more. And I don't know who that team's gonna be, because I don't know if you want to have them beat Mega Bad right now.
No, I think Mega Bad's gonna be the ones to win the titles from Babes of Wrath. What they need to do, though, is do Megan and Lena versus the Inspiration next. They just need to face all the teams that can destroy them immediately.
Yeah, I'm for that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Ty J tag match.
We talked about it earlier, but Sean Ross Sapp, our very own Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, just reported David Finlay is effectively done with New Japan Pro Wrestling upon signing with AEW, which you kind of got that feeling from the way he did his farewell at the New Beginning.
Yeah, I figured that would happen there. Swerve and Brody King became official for Revolution, and here Brody called out Swerve. Swerve took Brody looked dumb here. Okay, Brody looked stupid. It was very obvious Swerve was just gonna attack him from behind.
I was like, the way they got this camera angle on Brody, the way Nana is doing the whole introduction, I'm like, I wish that it would have just been like Nana doing this, and maybe like 5 seconds later they pan back to him. But no, they pan back to Brody like twice. Twice before Swerve
felt like forever. Yeah, it felt like forever that Swerve came out there. I was like, Brody, you can't be this stupid to continue to look at the ramp over here. Like, what are we doing? He got attacked, and then he choked out Brody with the chain. I said, this is how you leash a dog. Finally, Bandito came out. That was another much one. Like,
what is that? Yeah, what is up with Jet Speed and Bandito?
Baby faces last night. Yeah, baby faces last night were taking their sweet ass time, saving their friends. And look, Swerve should have gotten there quicker. Yes, and maybe he was supposed to get there quicker. I don't know. Regardless, Brody looks stupid for not realizing that this was going to happen.
But a good angle.
Yeah, very good angle.
Matchup at Revolution, and this Revolution card is stacked. This feels like all hits, no misses yet from the matches announced so far.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good angle as well. And somebody mentioned dog collar match. I don't know if you're gonna
shouldn't do that one. First match.
Yeah. First match, I don't feel like you can do dog collar match.
That should probably be the matchup for Kenny and Swerve when they go on pay-per-view.
Ooh. I don't disagree with, like, I get where you're going with that. I just have a hard time picturing Kenny Omega in a dog collar match. That's where
you know Kenny though. Give him something new to do, and he's gonna give you the greatest dog collar matchup of all time.
Oh yes, he 100% will. Like I know my joke about Kenny Omega, Klay Thompson. I truthfully do not.
No, it's too late. You already gave that to Seth Rollins.
I did. All right, I'm off of it. No, I do not doubt Kenny Omega. He will make it work. I just have a hard time picturing it. Brody and Swerve, like, that's an easy visual in my head. Kenny and Swerve is a little bit tougher of a visual. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be Kenny and Swerve. So we'll see though. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
What are you talking about, King Pate? Dog collar match does not suit Kenny. What match does or does not suit Kenny? Kenny Omega will suit any match you give him any matchup. He will probably have the best matchup in that stipulation that's ever happened. Stop it. Stop with this nonsense. Hey, you got too convinced by the Jeremy Lambert bit of calling him Clay Omega. So stop it.
I was gonna do it again. I say you leave Kenny in the corner, he's gonna hit the open shot. It doesn't matter. You can't leave him open. No matter how washed he is, you can't leave him open.
Ball in his head. He got the ball in his head, and he's hitting threes from half court, Steph Curry style. Kenny Curry.
Yeah, look, Kenny is not Okada to where if you sell me Okada dog collar match, he ain't going out there to make that work. Okada is going out there and just like, no, we're not doing none of this bullshit with this dog collar. We're wrestling a normal match and pretending like this dog collar isn't even here. You aren't hitting me once with this fucking thing, and we will move forward. Kenny is someone who it's like you give it to him, even though you can't picture it. Like, all right, Kenny's going to go out there and be like, what can we do with this? Yeah. Completely different than, again, Okada, who is going to be like, no. Tax, chairs, dog collars. Absolutely not.
I'm not putting that around my neck.
Yeah, Okada's just gonna refuse to put it on. He's like, nah, we ain't working like that. John Moxley and Hechicero, really fun match. Didn't expect Hechicero to win or anything, but I love that Moxley is facing all of the Death Riders, and not only that, but
Don
you
Callis
get
family.
such
Don
Callis. Sorry, yeah, sorry. Wow, that's the meanest thing you've ever said to me.
No, that's what Tony Schiavone did. El Clone is undefeated against the Don Callis family.
Well, is he lying?
He's also winless.
True. Yeah. Sorry, facing all the Don Callis family members. I love it because one, it obviously tells the story as you're building to the Takeshita match, but Don Callis family has such an array of wrestlers that Moxley just gets to do different matches against different styles. Like, oh, here's El Clone, who wrestles one style. Oh, here's Josh Alexander, completely different style. Hechicero, completely different style. And you know Moxley loves that shit. Like, he's just he's
having a field day. He's having a field day. And I love the fact that I was basically, because I was asked by Jimmy Macram last week on a ramble, like, oh, why is it Moxley against another member of the Don Callis family? And they basically explained it on this episode of what I was trying to say last week, where he was like, Renee did the sideline reporting, which is one of the best parts about these eliminator matchups with Moxley is Renee adding something through the sideline report and saying that she spoke to Don Callis, and he says he's throwing all of these Don Callis family members at him and throwing different type of wrestlers at Moxley. So Takeshita can have a full scouting report of the different ways that John Moxley can win matches, the different ways that he approaches different opponents. So Takeshita, who's one of the most versatile performers in all of AEW and in wrestling today, he knows how to combat every type of style that Moxley can do. And I was like, that was such a smart bit of storytelling that they added with the sideline report. And then it segued nicely into this matchup, which was arguably the best of the series of Moxley versus the Don Callis family singles matches that we got, because he worked really well with Hechicero. It was a really smart matchup with the knee work from the limb work from Hechicero working over the leg, and it basically took us back to the end of last year where Moxley was putting on all these great matches around his ankle injury from the Kyle Fletcher feud. So that segued very nicely into this matchup where their styles really meshed very well with one another. Like the matchup that he had with Ace Austin, which was probably the lesser of these eliminator matches that he's had in recent months, that feels like a distant memory because he's had nothing but bangers against the Don Callis family in the last month and a half.
Yeah. Looking forward to Moxley and Takeshita at Revolution as well. All right, a bunch of super chats here. Appreciate everybody leaving the super chats. Let's see here. C Delgado says that was iconic squash by the Prawling Birds. I see what you did there. C Delgado. I see what you did.
Very nicely done.
Ryan saying the dean of Chase U, David Connors, dead on arrival. If that happened, absolutely dead on arrival.
Would have been.
Ryan also saying David said nope to Chase U, Lexus King, lame stable. Like, that can't be your pitch. I love Chase U. I do. I mean, the reboot has sucked. They did nothing with the reboot. The original, very good. But that can't be your pitch of like, hey, you want to work with these dudes who we like never feature on television, and we're gonna change your name? Like, no, not really. I prefer to go over here.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun to me, so no, I would not.
But it's your brother and your dad are here. It's like, great, I can still talk to them. Like,
he was like, I'm not going to be invited for Thanksgiving anymore, but
Delayed Grat saying the super chats for SP3. Why just SP3? Hater. WWE put Danhausen on the main roster, but offered Davis Finley, this guy, David Finley, an NXT deal. That's the report, that it was offered an NXT deal. And I will say this, and I know SP3 mentioned it, but also kind of clarified as well. Danhausen and David Finley were not going to do the same things. Like, no. I mentioned this on Monday when people were like, oh, I can't believe Danhausen's doing this, and they released people like Wesley, and they got Ricky Saints in NXT, and everything's like, yeah, it's two different people and two different characters of what your expectations were. You don't want Wesley doing stuff that Danhausen is doing. You don't want Ricky Saints doing stuff that Danhausen is doing. We saw how that worked out on Tuesday. That wasn't a. I love Ricky. That was a segment.
Yeah,
that was a segment.
I know there's gonna be people who's defending. I just had to deal with Romeo defending this in the Tree HH chat. Yeah, I was like, Mr. Unbiased is being biased again just because he likes Ricky Saints. He can't admit it was a bad segment. Like, it was a bad segment, bro. Like, what are we talking about? It was like, oh, he's supposed to be annoying. I think it worked because Hendry came out and attacked him at the end. I was like, bro, it was a bad segment. It was turn the channel style. Like, that wasn't what Ricky was suited for, and it just fed into the whole Ricky being a miniature Rock gimmick. So, like, I didn't like that for him as a fan of Ricky Saints. I didn't like that for him, and I didn't think it was a good segment. But some people will defend it as much as possible.
It wasn't a good segment. Just wasn't. So again, you don't want Ricky doing that stuff on the main roster. Like, you don't want him doing Danhausen stuff. So, David Finley would have probably gone to NXT, because I don't know where David Finley fits on the main roster right now. They can't even get Hobbs any TV time with
that whole thing.
With what's going on?
So weird. Why would you debut him at your second biggest show of the year and then say, "Oh, we're gonna put you on ice for 6 weeks so you can get acclimated"? Dude's been on TV for 5 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, I do love the report of like WWE was pleasantly surprised of Danhausen's merch numbers. Like, why did you sign him if you didn't think he was going to move merchandise? Like, that's kind of the purpose of Danhausen. I would assume that would be like the only reason to sign him. No knock on Danhausen, very nice guy. His gimmick works, but like, you're not bringing him in to main event WrestleMania or anything. No. Like, you're bringing him in to do kind of 30-second comedy skits, but a big reason to have Danhausen is like, he's been a proven merch troll throughout his entire career. So I would think you would know that if that's why you signed him. And they were like pleasantly surprised by his merchandise. Like, what do you mean?
But I can understand wanting Hobbs or Keys to be on the main roster, but you're telling me he couldn't be like one of the top guys on NXT right now? If you don't have anything immediate for him to do on the main roster, I don't think he's the type of guy that will push back against being a top guy on NXT. Look at what that's done for someone like Ethan Page. That Ethan Page left ROH where he wasn't wrestling that often, went immediately to NXT and immediately became NXT World Champion, and he's been a champion ever since. So he's been in good steady. He's arguably, in my opinion, the second best AEW to WWE jump. So I would have just done that for Keys if you don't have immediate plans for him on the main roster coming off of Royal Rumble.
It was a weird debut anyway, because I'm fine with like a Rumble debut surprise. Like you said, you should probably have a follow-up plan. That would be ideal. But for this Rumble, considering the location, not exactly like where you're going to get this big pop of, hey, we're going to bring this guy in as a surprise, and we might not have plans for him afterwards, but it's still going to be like a great big deal, and he's going to get this big reaction and everything. Like, you kind of just set him up to fail almost, because you bring him in, he gets not a great reaction, and then you can almost justify of like, well, he didn't get a good reaction, so yeah, we don't need any creative plans for him right now. It's like, yeah, you kind of screwed that one up, but hopefully they get on track with him. Hopefully. And Matthew asking, what would we add to the Revolution card? I would add Jack Perry and Ricochet in a knife versus scissors match, and the first person to stab their opponent is the victor.
You're just asking for Jimmy. I'm gonna tell Jimmy Macaram this idea, and I'm almost sure what result he wants from that matchup. Yeah, Jack Perry and Ricochet for the national championship seems like an easy one to book. I would do maybe Willow Nightingale and Megan Bayne for the TBS championship. Seems like a logical place to go. Then I would, if you're going to add like one more, maybe to 0 Hour or on the main card, I would go with Tommaso Ciampa versus Mark Briscoe, number one contender for the TNT championship.
Who do they do with the conglomeration against the Dogs? Ishii's hurt. Is this the Roddy return?
Briscoe would, yeah, either Roddy returns or you throw Briscoe with Orange and Darby.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Briscoe and Gabe Kidd have the history that they never did truly follow
They
up
finally
on,
get to pay it off. Long-term storytelling. Briscoe's here to pay off the Gabe Kidd rivalry from last year.
Yeah, there is only one women's match. I assume they'll add a second.
Maybe
I would put Tony Storm and Wheeler Yuta.
I was gonna say the TBS title or Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir.
I would do Tony Storm and Wheeler Yuta. Fuck it. Don't give me this.
Wheeler wants revenge.
Stuff.
She pinned him.
Yeah, don't give me that Marina Shafir stuff. So a first stab match. They can bleed other ways. You got to stab your opponent to defeat them. A real blood and guts match.
Puncture wounds. We want puncture wounds.
That's right. Why are you like this? I don't know, man. That's a long story.
That's a loaded question.
I don't know. What do you want me to say? You've listened long enough, Greater Than Hara. I can't tell you why I'm like this. I've been doing this shit for years. My brain is just broken at this point. Let's say they did a knife versus scissors match. If you are one of the people in this match, do you risk with the throwing of one of the weapons? I feel like Jack Perry probably has a good throw on him. I don't know if Ricochet can like really get a good throw. Do you think Perry risked throwing the scissors?
That's a
the knife.
Lawsuit waiting to happen. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Well, you do it at the top of the ramp or something. You don't actually do it I'm not taking into the fans in account here. I'm taking into account of like, do you risk essentially giving up your weapon? Because if you throw it, it's done. And now the other person still has their weapon and can go after you. And you got to navigate around that. I don't care about the fans. If one of the fans gets stabbed, oh, well, you know.
I feel like Ricochet could easily Matrix out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I don't disagree with that, but Perry, like, he's actually good with a knife. So I do feel like he could, I don't know, he might be able to aim it kind of well there.
I don't know. I don't believe in his aim on anything after I saw certain tape. The CM Punk tape.
Okay. Sorry. I was like, what tapes are you watching?
They didn't put any S's or X's in front of tape. I'm just saying, roll the tape. It's been that long. It's only been 2 years.
It's bad that that's what I think of anyway. It's so terrible.
This dirty, rotten, dirty-minded guy over here. Jesus.
It's bad that that's what I think of anyway. My bad, everybody. My bad.
Oh, man.
What was your moment of Wednesday, SP3?
That right there. I'm gonna go with man, there's a few choices, but yeah, I'm gonna go with David Finlay. David Finlay's debut. Very happy for him. He's someone that I've kind of gone through every stage of relationship between a fan and a wrestler, where I've believed in him when he was kind of like really underrated coming out of the dojo and kind of being behind Juice and Jay White. Then I didn't believe in him when he first became the Bullet Club leader, and then I've really come on strong and basically been like, that's my guy. I believe in him. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So to see him on a national sale, to know that he's getting a good paycheck as well and can support his family, being a new father, I'm so happy for him and so happy for the Dogs overall being in AEW. So I'm a War Dogs guy. I'm a War Dogs member. He's my dog for real. So that was my moment of Wednesday.
I'm going to go completely on brand here and say Marty Snow being a complete rib against Hangman and Hangman squashing him. Full on just ribbing old Hangman there. I agree with somebody in the chat who said it earlier. Like, I didn't want Hangman to take off the jacket if he was just going to beat him that fast. It should have just kept it on. I don't know how that would have worked. Like, if he could do the buckshot with the jacket, you know, maybe he was not comfortable.
He's done it before with a jacket.
Yeah, but he's gotten, maybe the jacket got tighter. Maybe he got more swole. I don't know.
I do love it that he took it off and he put it back on 10 seconds later. That was actually awesome for me.
Anything else?
Thank you, other Mikey. King Potato just being a hater of Finley. Bullet Club died like years before Finley even took over that spot. Jay White more or less killed what was left of the Bullet Club. And I love Jay White. I think Jay White is one of the best who's come over from New Japan to AEW, and I want him to one day become AEW World Champion. He's one of my favorite heels in all of wrestling. But yeah, he killed what was left of the Bullet Club, honestly, with that last run that I had so much high hopes for. But between Carl Anderson going back and forth with WWE being in New Japan, that never open weight title run, him still having Evil and House of Torture a part of the Bullet Club instead of separating them down the middle, Finley salvaged what was left of Bullet Club for a couple of years as the leader. So let's be real here.
Yeah. Bullet Club was gone before David Finlay took over. At least King Passage just admits he's a Finley hater. I can respect it.
I get it. I respect it.
You're a hater there. Anything else from Dynamite or wrestling or just in general that you want to touch on, SP3?
I think that's Just have my matches, best matches. That's all
Okay.
I have left. I mean, for outside of the Ricky Saints of it all on NXT, I'm so glad the continued supremacy of Evolve and LFG on NXT. It's making NXT much more happier place for me right now, because I get Nikita Lyons. Did you see Big Cat? Did you see Big Cat on NXT? Maga the Stallion all here in these streets. Thick Cheney out in these streets. Yeah. The American Cream, Busty Rhodes, the Ultimo Wagon. Yeah. Let's go. Out here having one of the best speed matches in Women's Speed Championship history with Ren Sinclair. Let's go. Supremacy, Evolve, the Vanity Project Tag Team Champions. You got Jackson Drake on my NXT. Let's go. What we talking about here? Yes, King of the North, JBBL. Yes, indeed.
Ultimo Wagon. So good. There's so many good nicknames.
There's so many good ones.
That's
why I was so happy. I was like, oh man, I get to talk about this on In the Weeds. Let's go. I've refrained from Evolve chat, but Evolve has transferred over to Tuesday nights. You'll love to see it.
All right. Anything else, SP3?
I think that's it. That's it for best matches. That's all I got left.
Okay. All right. Best matches for the week. What you got?
Honorable mentions. I got a few because there was a lot of great matches that I can't even mention in my top 5. Takeshita and ELP from the New Beginning USA show. Moxley and Hechizero from last night's Dynamite. Gunther and Dragon Lee from Monday Night Raw, and Dragon Lee versus Jack Cartwheel from the AAA on Fox show. That was incredible high-flying matchup. Go out of your way to see it if you haven't already. 5, MJF and Kevin the Jet Knight from last night's Dynamite. I gave that 4.25 stars. Great performance by both guys. MJF proving why he's the best world champion in wrestling today, while Kevin Knight proving why he's going to be a future main eventer for AEW. 4, Don Callis family versus Jet Set Rodeo in the main event. I'm going to give that 4.25 stars as well. Incredible performance by Speedball Mike Bailey. His chemistry with Kyle Fletcher is undeniable. Great underdog babyface and great selling from Kevin Knight in that matchup. Kevin Knight being on 2 of the top 5 shows you he's one of the best that's really underrated right now in wrestling. But the top 3 comes from last Friday, that New Beginning show for USA. Number 3, Bolton Oleg and Ishii for the Strong Openweight Championship. I gave that 4.5 stars. Just a straight up banger. It's just balls to the wall. They didn't hold anything back. Sad that Ishii suffered the neck injury, but a great performance by those guys. Number 2, Shuri versus Athena. Oh man, give me more of that. Like that, the fact that I'm gonna give that 4.5 stars, and I don't think that's the best match that they can deliver, says it all. These are 2 of the best women's wrestlers in the world going at it. Give me more of this. Give me that as a Super Card of Honor main event. But number 1, Yota Tsuji, Andrade El Idolo. I gave that 4.75 stars. One of the best New Japan matches of the year so far, cementing Tsuji as the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Andrade El Idolo is going to be in the conversation for the best in-ring worker of 2026. I am completely convinced, and I felt like this is his best match. And he's had matches with Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, and Kenny Omega already this year, but he performed at the top of his game against Tsuji here, and they just worked so well together. 2 guys that are a size that they should not be doing lucha libre and doing twisting arm drags, but they are able to do it. These 2 guys are so good together. Give me more of this. But yeah, that's the best match I saw from the past week.
Wow, can't believe you didn't go with the iconic inspiration against the Brawling Birds.
I mean, that deserved an honorable mention. When we're gonna do worst match of the week, that wouldn't be on there because that was excellent usage. But
Yeah,
I agree with King of the North. Aaron Wolf versus Bad Luck Fale. That would be the worst match of the week. That's what I'm gonna do from now on. I'm gonna give you the top 5 best matches, and then what's the worst match of the week.
Yeah, I know. I got top 5 worst at the end of the month. That's what we agreed to. Yeah,
so, that's right.
Yeah. I got y'all.
Did you jot that down? Aaron Wolf and Bad Luck Fale.
I gotta watch it first. I haven't watched any of the New Japan stuff, so I gotta watch it. I'll take your word for it.
We got 2 good matches from New Japan Cup so far with Great Okan and Yuya Uemura and Bolton Oleg and ELP, but we've had to suffer through Aaron Wolf and Bad Luck Fale and Ren Narita and Tai Chi. Why Tai Chi is so stupid? Oh my God! He believes that Kanemaru is gonna turn on House of Torture and join him. He holds up Narita for him. He's holding a bottle of whiskey. Why are you holding the bottle of whiskey if you're not gonna turn on me? Like, do you want me to have sympathy for the dumb baby face? Gato's gonna give me an ulcer with his usage of House of Torture. If Doki wins tomorrow, I am coming on this show and I'm just gonna rant for 5 minutes about Gato being the dumbest dude. Like, New Japan is seemingly perfect, but they're just failing at math. They're that student in school where they ace in science and English and history and every other subject, but they suck at math. That is Gato with his usage of House of Torture.
I can't get behind House of Torture anymore without Evil. I can't. I need Evil back. I refuse to support a Ren Narita, Bad Luck Fale led House of Torture. I refuse. Evil I will support. Anything else, SP3?
That's all for me today. Hopefully I don't have to come back on here tomorrow and rant about how bad Gato is at his job.
I don't know. It might. Oh, apologies. I did not have a poll question for today, so I apologize. That's on me that there was no poll question. But I do have the top weed, the XP1 winner for February. Louis is no longer the forever top weed. Finishing tied. So we had a 2-way tie for third. It's C. Delgado and Ryan Lambert. They finished tied for third. Louis, you finished second. And our new top weed is AEW's own Tenruza is the top weed for the month of February. I don't know if Tenruz is even here today.
He's not even here today.
Yeah, he kind of pops in and pops out. So maybe he's like Alexa Bliss Gamer. We'll say his name and he appears type of thing. We'll get a cameo. Tenruza. What's Alvarez charging now?
Oh boy, he's looking for more money. He's probably charging more.
He probably is, honestly. Brian Alvarez. I would see if there's like an AEW person, but I imagine AEW. Yeah, Alvarez is at $20 still.
Mm-hmm.
We got that kind of money here.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah,
too much.
Yeah. I assume like AEW people cost too much. What's like Brandon Cutler costs? He's got to be on here, right? Oh, he left Cameo. He left Cameo, unfortunately. That's unfortunate. All right, who else does AEW have? Oh, I thought it was $5 for Kyle Fletcher, and I was like, holy shit, I'll take that.
Take advantage, yeah.
Yeah, but it's $50, so I misread it. He got a 5-star review. That's why it's $5.
There you go.
Yeah, all the AEW wrestlers are
too much
expensive for our lack of budget here. Like Austin Gunn is $50.
Jesus, that's like the minimum, I guess.
Yeah, the cheapest is Ariel Levy. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, who?
He's $15.
Who?
Sean Dean is the second cheapest at $30. I feel like I just messaged Sean Dean just on my own.
Yeah.
He'll do it for free.
Can you bury this person, please?
Yeah. All right. Dijak is still the guy that we will get to bury you, Tenruza. We'll make sure to mention MJF's like $250 or something. Yeah.
We're worth it, I guess.
Yeah. We'll get Dijak to bury AEW as well. We'll have Dijak say AEW is not going to sign you. Tony Khan does not know about you, but keep supporting the show.
We appreciate
Tenruza did send in a lot of super chats during February. Super chats now count for more than they did previously. Yeah, they've been like changing up the system, but super chats are what counts for the most now instead of just like normal comments. So let that be a lesson to everybody. Send in all your super chats. SP3, let them know where they can find you at.
Find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be covering New Japan Cup as the shows go on, so you can see if I get an ulcer tomorrow during the anniversary show. I also will be live in about 30 minutes with Jimmy Macaram for AE Ramble reviewing last night's AEW Dynamite. I'm sure Jimmy hated last night's show. He's been giving it consistently a 7 out of 10 for shows that I've been giving it 8 out of 10 and higher. And maybe I'll give it an 8, but maybe I'll go a little bit lower. So he's probably going to give it like a 5 out of 10. And he doesn't watch WWE to balance the scales and to have a curve. So check us out, AE Ramble at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, as we discuss AEW Dynamite. And tomorrow I'll be live on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for our WWE NXT Vengeance Day preview with Corey Haynes of Body Slam. So join us for that as well. And of course, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday.
Is it Haynes or Hayes? It's Hayes, isn't it?
Hayes?
Yeah, it's
Hayes.
Corey Hayes. Yeah.
Where do you get our hands on you? Hayes.
What did we accomplish today, SP3?
We accomplished a lot. We talked about AEW Dynamite. We talked about the NBA landscape as we go down the final stretch, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ranks as far as the all-time greatest two guards. Not that. And we also talked about the train work that was the wedding episode of Love is Blind 10, Ohio.
I think the biggest thing that we accomplished today is that no one gives a fuck about your soccer career.
Very well said. Very well.
Appreciate everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Myself, Joel Pearl. No idea what we're doing, but we're doing things on the show tomorrow. Myself and Steven Jensen tonight, 6:30. Spotlight right here on this channel. I got to deal with Jensen, who's probably going to be very excited that Cody's going to win the title tomorrow. And that's not going to be great for me. Spotlight 6:30 in the weeds tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Everyone head over to roundtable.io/NBA. Sign up, join, all that good stuff. Get me some money, everyone. Get me some money. Appreciate everyone with the super chats, the like, the subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until then, we'll talk to y'all later on.